T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Tell 'em.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
you are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy MJ, and guess what? We are live and direct inside the Mutation Creation, I guess, egg cutting room. This is the egg cutting room.
Yeah, egg cutting room. Update.
Why are you talking so like if you're shy right now?
I'm not shy. I'm just talking.
It's such a soft, peaceful voice from
It's
Billy.
just started. I mean, we gotta get into it. Woo!
I am so happy to be here, Billy. But before we move forward, I just want to let you guys know, if this is your first time tapping in, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment. Let me know what you like best out of this episode. And also, I want to say that this episode is only possible because it's brought to you by the one and only family straight fire reptiles out of Chicago. Thank you, Levance. Thank you, Wesley, and the CEO, Deuce. I appreciate you guys so much for making this episode possible. But fucking Billy Rose right next to me in the flesh.
Crazy, yeah.
I can't believe this, dude. Okay, listen, you guys are gonna understand. I always tend to go to my bar check story when people ask me, well, what got you into this? And really, it was bar check. Bar check was my first
I think it was
YouTuber.
most people.
It's kind of like a given, right?
Yeah.
But then, other than that, when I really wanted to tap into some ball python knowledge, dude, it was you, bro. Like you were doing things where I'm like, fuck, this guy's energy. Like, I don't see any kind of like fakeness. I don't see a gimmick. I see this guy being who I would be if I was in this position. And it's inspired me. Not only me, man, you've inspired many other people. So thank you for having me, first and foremost.
Oh, for sure. I mean, how do I say no? I mean, it's just like oh, I could, but be a dick. It was funny because when you first came in, I'm like, man. We've talked over the years, 3 or 4 or 5, years, maybe even longer. Probably longer because the 3 years,
2016.
Yeah, 2-3 years have been friggin' COVID. I mean, time's flying.
I had probably just taken my Instagram account from unprivate to like posting snakes, and Billy was one of those guys who responded to a DM. I must have asked fucking multiple questions to Billy, and this is before his Patreon page, man. He's always been responsive. He always gives people the time of day. So
try anyways.
I've never forget stuff like that. Also, Billy, you've been a part of like my whole growth in this industry. You've always been there to talk to me on the phone. So
Yep.
first and foremost, just want to say thank you for your support, man. And it's really an honor to be in this fucking building, bro.
Cool. Yeah. And it's funny because when you
unreal.
came in, it's like, I felt like I already knew you. And it's like, man. And finally the first time we've ever met. And it's just like, it's just bam, nice and smooth and easy.
So, okay, how's it been so far? I mean, you've been in this facility for how long now? Since the big
almost 2 years. So we're coming on 2 years. We moved our first animals in middle of October 2020.
Okay.
So we're still, 2-3 months out from being at our 2-year mark, but awesome. Love it.
And from what I understand, you're not done with evolving. You have a lot of projects in play. You want to move around racks. So looks like things are not slowing down here at all.
No, not at all. I mean, it's, I like change, because change means I'm doing something right, or I'm fixing something that's wrong. Change isn't necessarily a good thing,
But you have to adapt to it.
You got to adapt to it. So sometimes I change things because I want to make something that isn't working better.
Right.
Or I'm growing and I need to expand and change things around, like the podcast room.
Right.
It was a great room with my Pokemon stuff.
It inspired everything I do with like upgrading my equipment, bro. The way I saw you present your podcast, the Roadcaster, I was like, fuck, like
it's
that.
amazing.
That set the example, bro. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, that space could be utilized better, and that's what we did. We changed it. Now it's our hatchling room.
Right.
So now, people are gonna say, well, when's the podcast coming back? I'm probably gonna do it solo. I'm going to do it differently.
Bro, it takes a lot of energy. And I mean,
It
like,
does.
I don't have nearly the workload that you have. And you were you were schedually pumping out podcasts, and you guys were not.
Well, now we're doing, like I said, I've got 2 podcasts or lives. I got one tomorrow night, which usually go 2-3 hours. And I got one on Sunday that goes 2 hours for my Patreon.
Right.
So I'm still pumping them out. I'm just doing it on a different platform, but I do want to come back and do my channel, my content on Mondays. But, to have Austin here, because, all the stuff that we're doing here, it's a lot. He's traveling, and to come back at, 7:00 at night and spend 2 hours, I'm probably just going to do it from home, put it on. I don't know if I'm going to bring guests on, because that's what, there's so many people doing this, even on Instagram lives.
Yeah.
There's so many people doing it. I'm just going to turn the mic on, answer questions, get people all on the Monday, talk about shit, just give it to you raw like I do. And if that's not for you, then hey, I mean,
keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Yeah.
So
see ya.
Why don't we backpedal a bit and kind of take things from where you wanted to kick back? Like, there was a certain point where you had a lot going on here, and you were like, I'm going to chill out on the podcast. And I don't know if it was a work overload, but I remember the last time I brought you on the show, you were debriefing a lot. I want to see how things are since then.
It's good. So to me, it was just overwhelming, podcasts, live streams, Patreon,
clutches,
the clutches, moving stuff around. You don't realize it, but between the last facility and this facility over the last year and a half, I probably added a good 800 animals. Now, 800 animals and holdbacks, they got to be looked after, fed, cared for. There's always something coming up. There's people that I'm spending time with on the phone. Trying to brand, by getting a social media manager, that's taken a good workload off of me. But it's still, it was more of, I'm going mad. Like I'm trying to do everything. I want to be at the top and the best I can be.
But you also,
I just wasn't there. It was like, I was doing so much, but it was like 60%. I want to be at least 80 or 90.
I'm curious. Are you also the personality to where like you like to be in control of like this kind of, I mean, is it hard for you to let go of certain stuff?
Oh, it is. Like, it took me, so Austin's been with me now for almost 6 years. And I think after year 3, I let him start feeding my adults.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, after 3 years.
Yeah. And
respect to Austin.
It's hard for me. And then now, I have a great team, best. I mean, I'm very blessed. I couldn't do what I do without them. It's like, everyone's got their room. Austin and Lion run my adults and everything else. They breed, they ultrasound, they feed, they clean, they just look after everything like that. We go over the pairings, Austin has a lot of say of what we do, and he's amazing at what he does. And he
was missed today. By the way,
he was missed. Yes.
Austin,
it's only the first day, and I missed you already.
I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I'm pretty sure in today's vlog, I fucking beat him in points, which go to you.
You did.
Which holler at your boy, because I want some weed.
I'm just a loser when it comes to snake egg cutting.
You're in the Coliseum you built. So I don't see any kind of losing going around. But
yeah,
let's
I can't beat Austin in the egg cutting races.
Check it out. I do want to give a quick shout out to the MC family, because obviously Austin was missed, but what I experienced today was basically who you have employed, being able to just hang out in front of each other. You understand, I come from a workplace where when certain people don't like each other because they can't be around each other. We're lounging, hanging out for over an hour, fucking just, it was just a good feeling, good vibe. So I got to say, it's cool to actually see this in person and see that there is really a family oriented type thing going on here. So
yeah, we
it's
definitely
great.
try. And I mean, we have our days. I mean,
doesn't?
me and Austin butt heads sometimes. And
You need that.
yeah, I well, I don't say you need it. I
Well,
guess
not every day. You should probably have a helmet after a while.
You definitely don't need it when you're in it. But yeah, I mean, some days I have bad days, other people have bad days, shit happens, and we oversee it, we get past it.
I'm curious, what do you do about bad days, Billy? Like, let's say you wake up and just something doesn't feel right. Are you somebody to just maybe not go in, or
no? I come every day.
So
I mean, there's only been a day or two that I'm like, I can't come in.
Okay.
It's very rare. I've had to come in and do some stuff, and I've even crashed on the couch for a couple hours and then get back up. I'm go.
Yeah.
And
it's been like that since the gate. I'm telling you, Billy, your energy has not died down since I fucking seen
it's crazy.
you. It's insane.
52 and still going strong. Like, it's nuts.
Killing it. The guy's a beast.
But I mean, as far as, letting things go, I've trusted in my team. I've seen what they're capable of. So it's a lot easier when, and I'll still say, hey, can you do it this way? I like, it's not like I micromanage, but I do.
Right.
Catherine's amazing at what she does. She does things, she knows the way I like it. And she'll even say, hey, she'll make little suggestions. And, sometimes I shoot them down. Sometimes I'm like, hey, great idea.
Right.
Austin's come up with a lot of different ideas and stuff. Same with Lion. We have Alex now on our team and different things, because Alex has her own room. She does the whole back room. Kat does the hatchlings.
It's like you said, everyone has their place. Like,
yeah, Austin and Lion are in the
By the way,
room.
Alex, impressed as shit with Alex, her dedication to like the passion stuff. Like Jeffrey, fuck, what a guy.
Jeffrey, our parrot.
Yeah, Jeffrey the parrot,
lizards.
the lizards. I mean, one thing I respected her right off the bat is the markings. I mean, we have similar markings, and that's from all her claws that she works with.
The claws, the tegus, and even Jeffrey.
Dude,
I've been bit by him once.
He got your who's the other worker?
Renee.
Shout out to Renee.
So shout out to Renee.
Right.
He's here. He's not a worker. He's here to come give us a hand, especially when Austin and the Lion were supposed to be gone. The Lion's still here.
Got it.
Couldn't
Okay.
get his passport, but hopefully he gets it soon and goes out to
I'm
meet.
glad I got to meet a Lion though.
Correct.
Fuck, guy could cook a mean steak. Let's just say
yes.
that was bomb. Listen, I know you've talked about your steak game next door, but it is the real deal, bro.
It's awesome.
That was so bomb.
Yeah, it's fresh steak right there on the grill.
You can't complain.
It's amazing.
But anyway, so okay, I mean, going back to as far as how you kind of pick things back up, I know you went from dying things down as far as like cutting back on the podcast. But at what point did you kind of like feel like like you needed to prioritize things elsewhere? I mean, because I mean, it's still,
I was on the phone with someone just before when you guys just got here. There's so many things that I need to do. People are like, hey man, you got an availability list?
Right.
Not yet.
Right.
There's so many things that do, and plus, that we need to do, and we're always behind.
Right.
Answering emails, getting back. It's just, we're trying to fix things and make it smoother, more efficient and 100%. Effective. It's a learning process. Sometimes you get things and it comes really natural and it works for you. And then other things, it's like, why doesn't this work? Or why am I so behind on this?
Right.
And, with Catherine now, she does a lot of the stuff online. So everything will be entered on Husbandry Pro, and, but it's up to me and Austin to look, ID the snakes, sex them. And then, hey, Billy, because she can't say, hey, Billy, you're keeping this, or, well, she could, but I like to, go and say, hey, I'm going to keep this back for the future. I'm not keeping this. If I'm not keeping it, it's for sale. What price is it, Billy?
Right.
I've actually taught her to look at how we price, and she's done really well with it.
I mean, I think you're molding her, man, because she's very like knowledgeable as far as where's what, like in
how to do things, 100%. And,
I mean,
she's
schooled
a keeper herself.
She schooled me big time on Husbandry Pro today. So again, shout out to Catherine. I've had her on the show before. Yep. Amazing podcast. Check it out. But yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever it is, and here's the thing, man, like, everyone has certain maybe like flaws on how they should teach things, but it also is a way where to inspire certain people. And I feel like your excitement for how you maybe want to teach certain things is actually a good tool. And because I can tell you, your employees understand how you are. They know how you
they know how, because they've seen it.
Exactly.
And I'm raw. Like,
that's
when I have a bad day and I flip out, I'll throw something off the wall.
Right.
And,
God bless.
And that's just how I am. They're used to it. The very first week I think Catherine worked for us at the old facility.
Right.
I had a stupid, crappy scale, and it wouldn't work, or it would work, or it would shut off. And I just got so frustrated. I picked it up, and Catherine, small girl, Here's me pick this thing up, smash it into 40 pieces. The look on her face, what Austin said, I scared the shit out of her.
Right.
You know, here's a grown adult grabbing something.
It's hard to scare an
and smashing
Italian girl. You know, Italian girls don't get scared easily. So if you were to scare Catherine, bro, Jesus.
And here I am. It's like, this guy's a nut bar.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get. I am, you know, I mean.
He's a O. Henry.
Yeah. Oh, Henry.
Sorry,
Oh, Mr. Big.
We don't have O. Henry. We don't have O. Henrys in United States.
Oh, no. You got to have the peanut butter one.
Dude, the second time I heard about the peanut butter one.
Dude, it's a peanut butter O. Henry. It's the bomb. Dude,
All right, is there a certain store that has it?
You can go to the dollar store, most variety stores.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I want to try that. Definitely.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, Catherine, I mean, you know, they know me. They know how I am. There's some days where I'm just not tolerable. And some people say, hey, man, you know what? I'm leaving early. Yeah, go ahead. Blah, blah, blah. Next day, everything's fine. Everything's forgotten, you know? And it's just same thing too. Some people come into and have bad days. We know it. And it's like, you know, we just let them be. Right. No one's perfect. None of us, you know, are. We respect each other. At least I hope we all do. I mean, I'm pretty sure we do.
So for the people out there wondering how you operate as far as hours and operations go, like what is the Monday through Sunday routine? Do you have certain days where nobody's here? Like how's this being operated on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, Monday to Friday. So Austin and the Lion usually get in around 6:30, you know, 6:30, 7 the latest. And then, you know, I get in around 8, 7:30, 8-ish. Alex is around the same time, 8-ish. Catherine comes in around 9, depending, 9:30. And then the guys usually leave after lunch. We're here till 3, 4 o'clock. Sometimes we're later. Saturdays, Austin shows up for maybe 2 or 3 hours, usually 11 o'clock to 1 or 2.
Okay.
I'm here, you know, early until 2, 3 o'clock, depending on who shows up.
Okay.
Lion and Catherine, and even Alex, they don't come in on the weekends. Sunday, it's usually just me. But because Austin's collection's here, he'll come in on Sunday to work on his own collection.
How long has that been for now? How long has Austin's collection been here for?
6 months, maybe 5 months.
And how did that really work out? I mean, you know Austin's collection that well to be like, hey, come on in, bring everything, or are you just trusting him with it? Like, what's going on with that? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, you know, he's young. He was living at home. His parents were going to sell the house. He wanted to move out. Not many places, especially in the GTA, that you can move out, get a lot of space.
Especially right now.
It's crazy.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah. You know, for a 1-bedroom condo, the average price in the GTA, it's $2,500, 28 to 3,100 for a 2-bedroom. And I'm talking 500-600 square feet. It's tiny. Never mind having that just for a snake room and being in a building. So he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, dude, if you're in a jam, bring it here. He's like, really? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? Like, I got the space. We'll make it work. And we have. It's been, you know, an adjustment trying to get everything into the racks. And
I was going to say, I mean, you've had bad experiences when letting people.
I have, yeah, working with.
But this is way different dynamic.
100%.
Because this guy's been loyal to you, been working for you for, you know.
Yeah, and I mean,
6 years.
I know he's doing well. He's doing well with his pairings. You know, we you know, even though we bump heads once in a while, I mean, he's amazing at what he does. Right. He knows what he's doing. He's a great asset to MC, and you know, I hope I've mentored him well, and you know, he's taught me a lot of things as well. Which is great because, you know, you don't want to be the guy that knows everything because you'd be bored as well. I would be bored. Like if I knew everything and everything was perfect, you know, I like when people give me feedback or say, hey, you know what, try this. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah. But bringing his collection in, you know, we do a lot of breeding loans, you know, between me, Austin and a Lion, like Austin and a Lion, I think did like 15 breeding loans. Like, wow. We should just all of us move it in and just go nuts.
Just have a huge mansion, just live together.
But
it could be like one of those influencer mansions, but it's the Mutation Creation mansion, and fucking, you know, you guys are.
Yeah, I think there'd be too many holes in the walls. So you know, some days like stuff. You know, we can bear with each other for 6 to 8, you know, 8 hours a day, but all the time, I don't know.
Right.
You know.
So okay,
you'd have to all sleep with one eye open, or at least I would. Like, you know.
I'm curious because I'm not curious, but one thing I want to shout out is loyalty of your employees, because as you know, Billy, being somebody who speaks so freely as yourself, I mean, you do wear your heart on your sleeve. I know, you know, but it's sometimes it could be hard when for somebody to see your true intentions when you're trying to speak how you feel. And all I got to say is I just feel like I've always felt so much loyalty from Austin, you know, and that being said, like, you know, for instance, anytime I've had him on your show, I just feel like some true loyalty coming from your team, and that's really hard to find, bro. Like that's a shoo-in nowadays. You know what
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, like I said, good days and bad days, more good days, obviously.
Right.
You know, I want the best for them. I try to, you know, like anybody who asks me for advice, I give it to them real. Like, you know what? Whether I like something or not, I have people on my Patreon that have so much money invested into jeans that I don't like.
Right.
But guess what? It's not my collection. I keep in my collection what I like.
Right.
You keep in your collection what you like. Who the fuck am I to tell you not to like something? That's so stupid.
Right.
You know, I want people to do well, and I'm going to work on those, you know, the genetics and tell them what I would do, what's going to help them, whether I like it or not. It's not about what I like and about what you like. And, I can't talk to you because you like, you know, Monarch. I like Ultramel. I can't talk to you. You don't know what you're doing. You have a shitty gene. You're dumb. No, people have different preferences, different likes,
100%.
different wants, different needs, different budgets, different lifestyles. If you can't enjoy another person who's in the same industry with the same love, whether they're a big breeder, small breeder, if they have money or they don't, you know, they like your genes or don't. It's silly how there's so much division in the world, never mind in our hobby, because of stupid shit. It's nuts. And it's little stupid things that, like, really? I mean, why don't you talk to that guy? Oh, because he's friends with this other guy. Really? Has that other guy? No, I've never met him. So you're not going to even talk to another guy or support another guy because this other guy doesn't like him? That's stupid.
It's definitely a part of the past trend that this hobby used to be. And it used to, I mean, you go back fucking to the early 2000s.
2 fucking decades.
Two
That's how old
decades.
I am. I'm a dinosaur.
But I'm saying you've seen a lot of growth, and to go back on having to adapt with the change, I feel like that's why you're here, Billy. Let's think about a lot of people you may have seen start when you started, but where are they at today? Because you can't adapt to change. A lot of people can't adapt to change.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Or not
but
only
fuck, it's
change,
life.
not only change, you know,
Obesity is unfortunate too. What are you gonna? People still keep eating.
But what kills me is there's so many people that have a bad year. Some of their projects that they counted on didn't pan out. They throw the towel in. 1 year.
Because they didn't hit something, or they didn't get snakes that lived. What I mean,
I have people that invested a lot of money. The male didn't breed 1 year. Oh, blah blah blah. You know, they're like, oh, this hobby sucks, or they make something and they get all males, not females. They don't make their money back fast enough because that's what they were in for. You know, I've had people that, you know, egg-bound snakes died. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, guess what? It happens. Like, you know,
are a lot of people in the assumption that this is guaranteed? I mean, it's fucking Mother Nature. Like,
yeah, but it's almost like people think it is. It's like, you know, oh, let me just invest money, buy the best stuff, and that's all I do.
I will say ball python game is the most secure game to breed, but
I believe so.
It's still breeding. There's
you're gonna get slugs.
Retain eggs,
slugs, retain sperm.
Things
you know,
die.
Yeah.
What are you gonna fucking do? You know what I mean? And we talked about overworking males earlier, how you've had a lot of, not a lot, but you've experienced on how that could happen. And I had my firsthand experience doing that same thing, just playing it too fucking risky. Even though it's not eating, I tried doing one more round of pairing, and then sure enough, I mean, fucker didn't die, thank God, but it was like on the edge of doing it.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's terrible.
It's a very stressful thing to breed your animals, and you know, males without eating, it's happened. I've had males that, you know, 3-year proven breeder, and I didn't really even work him really hard in the 3rd year, but I'm like, wow, he's like 1,600 grams, nice and thick. Let me keep breeding. He's not eating, but look, I mean, he looks nice and healthy.
Why don't we throw out what we talked about earlier on what your game plan is with this, you know, some of your males that aren't eating, because you have some stuff that you're going to move. So the males that are by the females, you have plans on putting them away from the females, right?
Correct.
And you think that's a huge effect?
I don't know if it's a huge effect. So this is a change that I want to do.
Okay.
So
let's hear about it.
Having the room is definitely something that gives me the option to try this. And of course, I'll share this with everybody once I see the results. Cool. But most people have a breeding room, and all the animals, hatchlings, most people, even I did years ago, hatchlings, adults, subadults, males, everything in one big enclosed room.
That's me.
A garage, yeah. Most people do. Well, now I have it separated, where now I have my hatchling room, I have my whole back room, and I have my adults. Now my adults, I have 477 breeder females.
Wow.
Okay. And then I have my males in the same room. Well, what I've noticed lately is, you know, most of the animals, and it seems like every year it gets worse and worse, that my males would eat. They'd breed a few females and stop eating for months. What am I doing? Because of the past experience, like, you know, you have now, like, I'm not going to push them anymore because I know it's like flipping a coin. I might get away with it or I might not. I'm not playing flip the coin anymore.
Right.
If it's not eating, it's not breeding, plain and simple. That's why I've got backup males. And that's why I have so many males now, because not only because they go off of food or they don't breed certain females. Have you ever had that? You put a male in and he just doesn't.
They don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but you put him with another one, he'll lock within 5 minutes.
Bro,
you know?
it's
crazy.
humans do it too.
100%. And it's not.
Like
So I'm having more females. I mean, more males now, and backups, plan A's and plan B's, and even plan C's in some cases. But what happens is they're in the same room with my females, and I'm sitting there going, well, now that I have a room, I'm going to build another room.
Right.
Have just my males in that room, different ventilation system. So now the pheromones and all the breeding and all the noises or whatever else goes on in that room that, we still don't know about. The males are in their own. Maybe that might, stimulate them to eat more because, I don't know. But if I have the room, now I have all my males in one room, all my females, and then taking those four freedom breeder racks out now gives me 4 more freedom breeder racks for more females.
So it's all, I mean, it's
in a couple of years, I'm going to sit there and say, hey, you know what? Wow. By doing this, I observed that my males didn't go off the food as much, maybe because they're in the same. Also, I like to keep my males a little, on my thermostat, a little cooler by a couple degrees.
Right.
So now if I can have them in a room that's a little lower now, instead of being in a room that the ambient's higher for my females, maybe I can, I don't know. It's just, why not try it? Right.
I mean, I don't feel like you're shy to try anything that you feel like would help you out.
If I can,
I appreciate the shit out of
it. And I
that.
observe it, right? Like if my animals don't do well and I see something,
yeah,
then I'll change it back. I mean, that's the thing. Like a lot of things, like the Da Vinci boa, I'll give them a shout out too.
Okay, we're gonna holster that one.
I tried that, and you know what? A month or two later, I'm like, holy shit, this stuff works. And I tried it, and 4 or 5 months later, after I had a big database of animals eating and thriving from now on, I'm like, wow, I mentioned it, and many people have tried it, and they got great results. It won't work on every animal because I still have some that it's just they don't eat.
Right. Now, if we could kind of tap into, man, I don't know where I was going to go before you went on the fucking boa rant, boa Da Vinci rant.
Fucking Billy.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I know one thing. There's supposedly only 60 likes and there's 150 people watching. What do you have to say to that right now, Billy? If you're not liking this, and don't go soft. This is my channel. This is not your channel, so I want you to go in on these motherfuckers.
I don't know. There's a lot I can say. Like, I don't know. I mean,
Is that you? Are you that person?
Yeah.
Are you that person? Are you that person? That's not enough, Matthew. And I don't need you. It's 60. Shut up over there.
Yeah,
God
where are you getting your numbers?
Actually, I'm just kidding. It's actually a lot more. I'm just but it was at 60 for a minute.
It might have been. Yeah, it was also at 0.
That's that clickbait.
Then it grows.
That's
clickbait. There you go.
Okay.
Clickbait. But yeah, no, I mean, give him some love, man. I mean, he came all the way out here, and it's awesome. We finally meet. His shows are always epic. He's got many, many people on. Big breeders, small breeders, new up and comers.
You name it.
You know.
So Billy, I remember what I was going to say now. One thing that I've come to realize that not only Kabelka does, but you do too, is you have some sort of not partnership, but some sort of you have a lot going on, bro.
Yes.
So there has to be situations just like Justin where he has to do something with, I don't want to call it overflow, but just a certain tier that just isn't up to where he has all his most current stuff. So what are you doing right now as far as maybe helping certain people in your Patreon page or anything like that?
So,
let's talk about that.
So what I've done, and it was awesome because I mean, when I saw Justin come out and say, hey, I'm like, oh my God, that's pretty cool. And two of the people that I'm working with said, did you see what Justin just did? So my Patreon has been a lot of things. One, it's been there to help people. It's been there to dedicate my time to people that are investing in me. I invest into them instead of having people waste my time. And I'm picking people that I think are going to be around in 6 months and give them so much time. And then they flake off. And then the people that are here 2 years later that I could have helped and put them in a better spot.
Right.
How do I know when I pick up the phone or answer who's going to be here and who's not? So it was something where you invest in me, I'll invest in you. People on my Patreon, I've had people there for 2.5 years. I was one of the first. I got criticized at the beginning. It's like, Patreon, blah, blah, blah. Now all the big people are in it, which is awesome.
But you're killing it, bro. Like,
yeah, I enjoy it.
You have a solid community that you're building.
100%.
I respect the shit out of it.
I do quite a bit. I want more. The discount off animals. I have a lot of people buying high-end animals at great discounts. And it's great for them because they can get more or they pay less for animals and get into projects where normally they wouldn't be able to. And I think it's great because I actually lose money doing Patreon. You know, if people are spending money and buying animals at a discount, I'm losing money. And
Right.
you know what? I don't care because I make enough and I know I'm helping people. This isn't just about money for me. You know, people are like, oh,
I mean,
if
you're
this was
investing
just
in the
about money, why do I keep spending more money on shit that I don't
feel like
really need?
Your
Like,
biggest
it's-
investment is growth into the hobby itself. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, like you said, there's not everyone who has the fortune of the money that they can invest, but they have what it takes.
100%.
And-
So
and
with
you're seeing
Patreon,
that.
one thing I did with Patreon, and this is about a year ago, I had this idea. And I have 3 people that I'm currently working with now. And there's been a few people on Patreon that I really wanted to work with. And
Right.
then, you know, life happened or they went a different direction or they dropped off.
Okay,
and
but
it sort of sucks.
I was gonna say, I thought about this before the show started, and I mean, as much as I would love to be in a position to help people, doesn't it scare you to where, like, let's say you drop 500K worth of your animals in somebody's collection,
I have.
and then right, and then okay, and then they're like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I need to give this back. Like, how?
Then I'll take it back or I'll put
so
it
you're
somewhere
able,
else.
you're able to take that back?
Would you?
I mean, that's all. I mean, I don't know.
Of course,
I mean,
of course I could. I
Okay.
would, because 1, they're mine, but 2, with Patreon, I've built a nice, you know, community. People can talk
Respect.
about stuff.
right.
Every 2 weeks, I do a live where I answer questions on the live stream, and we just go through. And there's a lot of other stuff that's on there. And I hope the information's great. I got a lot of one-on-ones. But during the time I've been doing Patreon, I see people go through the struggles that I've done, and you see people on a daily basis lose clutches, have, you know,
Yeah.
tangled umbilical cords, slug out, females die. It's how you react to the stuff that's going to happen. If you do and breed animals, this shit's going to happen. No one is oblivious to it, or everyone is going to have problems. They're going to have great years, bad years. They're going to
Right.
have good days, bad days. It's just that's just how it is.
Right.
So when I'm seeing these people, I see people really take it and like, wow. And I see how they bounce back. And hey, Billy, you know, and I try to encourage them, and, you know, I try to give them a push, and they do it. Some people just give up. It's like, I'm selling my collection. I can't do this. I get it. It's not for everybody. You know, success isn't for everybody. Business isn't for
I
everybody.
mean, how many times has life hit you where you could have pulled the plug and stopped? if you wanted to?
100%. And
Right.
you know, it's how you bounce back or how you deal with it and move forward.
Or
is
how
what's
bad
key.
you want it.
How bad you want it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want something bad enough, nothing will stop you. You can get kicked every single day and you'll still keep pushing forward.
100%.
Now, hopefully, with all the information out there from my channels and then the information I give out, and, you know, people you interview and yourself and other people's Patreons, the videos on YouTube, the help that the people want to give in the community on live streams and Instagram lives or wherever, or just friends, you know, it's amazing that you don't have to make half the mistakes that we did or other people did in the past, because we're telling you, don't do this because that's how it's going to end up. And some people like to learn the hard way. I've done that in the past where it's like, no, that doesn't seem right. And I do it. And I'm like, fuck, yeah, I was right. I'm an idiot.
Right.
But with Patreon, I've seen people, what they were willing to do, how they cope with stuff, what they wanted to do. And a lot of these people had everything that you would want except for the dollars.
Right.
They had the passion, the drive, the love, the time, the want, the need, the success, the drive. And what they've invested in is everything they had, you know, and they're doing well. But you can only have so much, you know. I mean, I'd like to get another $2 million and buy more snakes. I have to make that $2 million. I just can't go get it and pluck it off a tree and put it down. So it's going to take me time to get that money to reinvest. Well, time in this business is your friend. It's also your enemy.
Right.
You know, being behind 2 years on a project, that's huge. That's dramatically huge. So I've gone and say, hey, I've got all these animals. Let's work something out. And there's a couple of people that I've bought half their company, and it's been silent. You know, I don't need any more, hey, Mutation Creation in, you know, this country, Mutation Creation in here. Mutation Creation is my baby, and I get to run it, and I get to work with my staff. And it's been great. I don't want to have, you know, control over, I have a hard time just doing this, never mind having, you know, in 3 different other places. So I'm like, hey, what's your collection worth? What have you got into it? Cool. Let me match it. Let me get you some racks. Let me do this. Let me send you animals. I have one gentleman that has 60 of my breeder females.
Oh my God.
You know, and I gave him some males as well. And we're still going to keep doing that.
Right.
You know, and then I have another guy that's doing it a little differently. And, you know, I'm probably going to do this, you know, see how this goes over the next year, and probably do this with a few other people. But to me, it's, you know, I want to put my money into a place where my animals are going to get taken care of. They're number one, the quality, the customer service, their drive, their passion. Like you said, I don't want to invest my animals and put them somewhere and build something that in 2 years, a couple clutches go bad and he cries and says, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
The people I pick have already gone through this. You know, I've had somebody that's been kicked so damn hard. I'm surprised they're still here. And they're fucking here with a passion and going forward. And you know, wow. You know, with my help, their passion and that, they're going to be successful, you know? And we talked about this earlier. I don't need to have somebody say, oh, I'm in affiliation with Mutation Creation. You know, a person who is successful, no, I got here, just a lot of hard work, want, desire, passion, mistakes, learn, you know, drive. Nobody, you know, I didn't piggyback on anyone's shoulders to get here. You guys don't have to either. You know, you put in the money, you put in the work, you put in the time, you take it in the chin, you get back up. You know, you're going to have good days, bad days. It's life. And, you know, me helping those people, I know they're going to take it and roll with it now. Now they have everything that you need. And now there's some money or animals on top. They're just going to thrive. Now what they're doing now is even better, stronger. It's more passion. They're creating more. In years to come, they're going to have these amazing animals. And you know, who cares if it came from me, Ozzy, Justin, or all the big guys? There's little guys out there that are fucking crushing it.
Yeah.
And they're not crushing it.
It's coming from everywhere, man.
It's coming from everywhere. You know, there's guys investing money, and 2 years later, after hard time and work, wow. Can I read this?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
So I got this morning. Remember, Matt? We were walking, and I'm like, wow. So we were actually on our way to the butcher shop to get
one
food.
from Herbert?
Herbert.
HB Reptile. Shout out to the homie Herbert.
So he called me up, part of my Patreon, and we talked, and, you know, awesome guy. And, you know, he said, this was today, and I'll read it word for word. Hey, brother, good luck tonight. So not only that, you know, he just somebody, and I get this a lot. I don't know if you do too with your, you know, your trap family.
Right.
You're going to do something like, hey man, have a safe trip. And it's just
for
amazing.
Sure.
It's the love, and people take their time out.
It's family.
Happy birthday. Hey man, congratulations. Oh, sorry to hear. Get better. Like when you were in the hospital.
Yeah. I definitely get mad love for my trappers.
Fucking love, man. I mean, it's awesome. And so he's like, you know, good luck tonight. About a year ago, you did a live stream with Jason from Morph Mixology. And that changed my thinking. We risked it all and borrowed $47K from my wife's 401k and went all in. Okay. That money allowed us to invest in some big projects, and we're looking at making $200,000 to $250,000 this year. And he says, I appreciate you, man. I'm like, wow. And I just said, man,
shit, Herbert.
Yeah. And the thing is he listened, he called, he you know, he's
humble.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's a humble guy. Dude.
And the thing is, it's not about how much money you have. It's how you spend it, what you're doing, what you're breeding. There's so much of this. This isn't just spend fucking money and watch it all fly in, you know? There's an example too of a lot of people that spend lots and lots of money, and where are they now?
Right.
You know, and we're always going to have that. But, you know, I just said, man, I'm really happy for you. So amazing. Thanks for sharing and believing in me, bro. And putting in the work and learning.
Right.
Because it wasn't just me. He listened to me, did some stuff, believed in it, believed in himself, believed in me, did it. Holy fuck.
And I got to say, man,
amazing.
Herbert's somebody who not only I ran into at Tinley, but he's at Arlington. Like, he's motherfucking making moves. Like,
100%.
I can't stress that enough. I'm like, I understand if you're just now getting your feet wet, but if you're not actually showing your faces at these shows, going to people's tables, shaking hands, 100%. Doing all that shit, you're just another fucking person with the Instagram account. Like,
yeah, you
gotta
need
go
to
out
get
there.
involved. You
have
need to be
you gotta
there.
care.
You need to have a presence. You need to build a brand, you know, but
yeah, 100%.
You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in the industry. If you go now, I've been in this for 20 years plus. You go to an expo, you see the demand, you see the vendors, you see the animals, you see the dollar value sign of them. You see what people don't want to sell. Most of the shit I make, I don't even sell. That's the high-end stuff.
Right.
It goes in my whole back racks.
Right.
I sell the stuff I don't want. And people are like, oh, I want this. Well, work for it like I did, you know?
Right.
But there's people out there like Herbert, you know, listen to it, was doing this for a few years. You know what? There's got to be a reason why I'm not doing it right. Let me listen, let me learn. And he took the time. We talked, and you know, I mean, he continued to you know, invest in this, in educating himself and learning and talking. And, you know, said, you know what, I believe in this. Let's take it up a notch. And I'm glad he did, because look what he did.
Like when you have someone literally going to you for your advice and you kind of see not really flaws, but you see somebody going too fast, you kind of let them know, or I mean,
in a sense, yes.
And you know what kind of fast I'm talking about? Like, so trying to be something you're really not yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, I mean, I don't really like to say, hey, slow your brakes. You know, I just tell them to understand where they're going and sort of take a look at what they're doing.
Right.
Because, you know, you can't say, hey, it took me this long to get there, I would advise. No, I mean, there's some people that can get there, you know, just, you can't cut steps, you know. This isn't something where the more you spend, the faster you get it. It doesn't happen. You got to play with odds, genetics, market yourself. I get that all the time. Oh, who's going to buy an animal off of me? Like the people, someone will come in and buy a trio, or I'll sell them some animals. And they're like, you know what, next year, come by and buy the male. Here's a good, you know, here's a good project that you want to get into. And here's how it is. Yeah, but if I make this and I spend this money and who's going to buy a $10,000 snake off of me? Nobody knows me.
Yeah.
Today they don't, but you got fucking 2 years to fucking market yourself, get involved, like you said, the community, meet people, learn, educate yourself, get more hyped.
But understand, without those fucking tools, it's going to be really difficult to sell those
100%.
things. You ain't going to
if you're going to wait, and I hear this so many times, hey, get your Instagram off the account. Start sending pictures. Oh, but I don't have the great racks yet. I don't have all the animals I want.
That's laziness.
Don't be embarrassed of what you got, because I had fucking Malamine racks. You know, I think we all did.
Right.
You listen to old school stuff like, you know, Snakes and the Fat Man, my man Chris.
Eaton, that's my dog.
You listen.
Chris Eaton.
You listen to some of his whole podcast with all the original guys, even himself.
I love that.
You know, we all started with shitty racks. We all started with all this crap. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We never had ultrasounds, you know. We did it old school. We fucking didn't do well all the time.
One thing, shout out to Chris Eaton, since we're talking about him. I want to say that his motive on bringing people on the show is really not about what you have or what the fuck you've done. He just doesn't give a fuck about any 100%. Of that shit. You got to be somebody as an individual that he wants to talk to, like as a person. And you know, I don't know. Chris is somebody who's been in it for a minute. You know what I mean? And he's one of the OG fucking podcasters. So it's hard to break this guy's skin and want him to be like, oh my God, look at your clutches. That motherfucker just don't care. You know what I mean? And I just love Chris for that, because it's like you've been through this shit. You ain't gonna fucking, you know, fudazzle what you believe in or what you like. You are who you are. You don't give a shit, two shits what anyone
and I said, you know what? There's genes that I don't like to work with. Doesn't mean that you don't have to. Like, I'm always, if you listen to what I say, I do this because it works for me. I use this because it works for me. I breed because it works for me. I feed every 2 weeks because it works for me. I believe in it. And, you know, I've done things. I use Da Vinci Boa. Some people said, you know, that's so silly.
I was one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, listen.
Then don't do it. I'm not forcing you.
Exactly.
I don't get a kickback. I just trying to share shit. Sorry, man.
No.
I just try to share shit that works, that I see as a benefit to these animals.
And either do it or don't.
Yeah, or try it. And if it doesn't work, then go back to the way you did.
I mean, I have Patreon members actually that are Patreon members from yours. So shout out to that. But I'm just saying that really only do because you suggest it and it works for them. And that's the case, then fucking bravo. That's all he wants to do is have shit work for you.
I just put it out there, what I see, what I notice, and what you do with the information is yours. I'm not holding a gun to your head and say, hey, you guys better feed every 2 weeks because it's better for the snakes.
Oh,
if you want to feed weekly, go ahead. I used to do it for 17 years. But what I've noticed, the way my animals are, many different things, I see more positives.
How long ago did you switch to every 2 weeks?
2 years here, about three and a half years ago.
Wow.
Maybe almost coming on to 4.
And you've seen what since then?
I feed every 2 weeks. My animals are more responsive for food. I have a whole back room of animals, and the majority of them, I would say 85% of them are females. No 1,000 gram, 900 gram wall. They go from hatchling every 2 weeks up to 1,000, 1,100 grams, whatever. We put them into the adult room. No wall. They shit less. They get clean less because they're not, doing this. They shed less.
What was some of the information you find out from, I think it was a vet or a doctor, something about how...
Oh, Dr. Warren Booth.
Hello, the homie
Mr. Dr. Warren Booth, man. Like, we've had him on our Patreon a few times.
And what do you talk about the ballpython digestive?
We talk about all types of stuff. There's stuff that, he said, and I'm like, what? I learned so much all the time, which is great because it's great to learn new things. So the digestion cycle for a ball python is 10 to 14 days.
Right.
Okay. So if you're feeding it weekly, okay, so 4 times a month, if it's only ingesting in 7 days, half of the rodent, half and half is 1, half and half is 2. So you're feeding it twice as much as myself, spending twice as much money,
energy for the snake,
stressing out the
Stressing
animal
it, yeah.
because actually feeding an animal is actually stressful.
It is. It's a whole.
So if
fucking
it's only
ordeal.
digesting half of the rodent every week, you're feeding it as much food as I am, because my animals actually, I think, retain more of the food than just, oh my God, here's another food. Let's shit what I have in me out before I digest it. My animals, I believe, are growing better than I feed weekly.
Right.
Also, the food response. They're not sitting there. It's like, oh shit, another rat. Like, I'm still full. Okay, Let me just take it. Less waste, less time. Another thing too, what I heard, when the ball python eats, within a few hours, the heart enlarges to twice its size.
Ooh.
During the digestion period.
Right.
The plasma in the blood thickens to slow down the blood so that the animal can concentrate on digestion.
Which builds the heart up.
Right. And also, yes. And also, I guess I'm pretty sure he said the intestines. I got to go back and watch my own bloody Patreon video when I had him on as a guest twice. The body changes for the digestion of the rodent. So
Wow.
if it's always in constant digestion mode for its entire life, the heart's enlarged its entire life, the blood's slow, it's not healthy. Okay. In real life, they're opportunistic eaters.
Right. So
these animals eat
Yeah.
and they're used to eating 15 times, 20 times a year, but we want to feed them 52 times. I feed them 26 or less. And you know what? And here's a good thing. I showed you this too. I told you this earlier. Oh, well, you know what? If you don't pack on the food, they're not going to have big clutches. I'm getting 12, 11 clutches. One of my staff, Alex, we talked earlier. She gets her rodents from myself, and she's like, my animals want to eat more. And I'm like, probably because they're hungry,
right.
But trust me, do this. And she's like, oh, I know they always want to eat. I'm like, it's a good sign. They're always hungry, but not starving where it's like, you feed it the next day, it wants to eat more. Like, within the next week, they look like they want more. And I'm like, just trust me, and it's the only source she has at the moment for live.
Right.
So she has to get them every 2 weeks because I get them every 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, I not bring in a special order just for her because I couldn't even get it. So what happens, her clutches, 9, 11, 12, 8, 9, 11.
So they improved.
Well, not only improved because she didn't breed the year before.
Right.
Or some of them did.
Right.
But people think that they need to have all this weight in order to get big clutches. I have 4,000 or 5,000 gram animals that give me 12 eggs, 11 eggs, 10 eggs, and I feed them. And my mediums are like most people's large smalls.
Right.
Some people's mediums are like, holy shit, that's big. I feed less. And then you also asked me earlier, it's like, what happens if an animal doesn't eat? Then I'll take it and I'll double feed one of the bigger ones.
Okay.
So
which is just a one-off situation.
So, and
it's
the
like,
worst comes to worst. Yeah. But I'm really underfeeding my animals as well.
Which they come from a place where they're not fed all the time.
Correct.
Like it's not,
and this is
they're
what
not
I've
built
noticed.
to be eating all the time.
So the pros of me knowing the animal is less stressed. It's better for them. It's more natural for them.
Right.
It costs me half the price of what I would spend.
Right.
Okay. My 1,000 gram wall is basically gone.
Right.
And I think the 1,000 gram wall is basically them developing. It's like, okay, I can't keep going on like this or I'm going to die.
Well, because in the beginning they could take it. And then after a while, it just, all that backup, like think about how it just backs up after a while. And here's the thing, like you have certain snakes that you can't do this to, or they'll die. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Ball pythons are just that snake that it's almost impossible to kill. You got to really just chop its head off or do something really neglectful to kill a ball python. They could go through a lot, but why should they?
Yeah.
Like, why should you? And especially
I noticed the thing. I'm getting them to size in a year and a half, 2 years. They're going back to back season, year after year after year.
Right.
And I see a positive to it.
I'm real curious though, Billy, how soon with your males that you just freshly hatch out, how soon are you getting them to breed?
I'm not breeding until at least 700 grams.
Okay. But how long is it taking for a hatch to get to 700 grams with this feeding regimen?
Average,
if you could think, a year. You get
within the year, within the
Wow.
year.
Okay.
Because the thing is when I feed them, You know, I get them right on fuzzies. I don't do pinkies, you know, so right on fuzzies.
Right.
And then from fuzzies, you'll see them grow a little bit and then they sort of stagnate.
Mhm.
Then you put them up to a pup. And the next thing you know, they have a nice little burst
They
and
blow
then they
up a
sort of
little
stay
bit.
stagnant.
Right.
Then you get them onto weans, which is for my males. That's all they get, weans. And then there's a big burst and then there they go.
Right. Okay. And as far as I'm just curious at this point, you know, obviously you have help from the team as far as ultrasounding and whatnot.
Yes.
But how is your male to female ratio game plan really to this day? I mean, do you still play the you know, 1 male to 6 females if you need to? Is that still happening to this day?
Right now we have 1 male to 17.
1
we
male to
have-
what?
17.
1 male to 17 females?
Yeah, we have another one. We got a lot, 10 to 12.
And these are like 2 locks at the most, right? Or is that
Three? We only do 3 locks at the
so
most.
3 locks and it's sealed.
Yeah.
And that's through a course of what, 3 months or
Yeah, I do every
Once a month.
once a month.
Okay.
You know, so we don't put a male in until the ultrasound says that the female's already building on her own.
at what number? Like
12 mil, 11, 12 mil.
okay.
Then we pair it. 4 weeks later, pair it again. 4 weeks later. But we also have noticed on Husbandry Pro, because now we scan the animal, and there's a thing called follicular development. You
Right.
click it,
Wow.
we weigh it, and then now we have a graph on so we know. So
Like what parts of the year it's growing, what parts of the year is
well,
it
yeah, especially when it's building.
after it's building.
So
right,
what
right,
happens is when you go into the breeding plan on Husbandry Pro, it's just the male and the females that you're pairing. And it'll also give you the updated right there in front of you, the follicular development. So what happens is what I've also noticed is some females follicles will grow faster than some. So what happens is, say I have a male going to 4 females, one of the 4 weeks of the month. And I did this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And I noticed this one's follicles are bigger than this one's. I'll go to this one and then back to this one. Because they don't always grow perfectly. Some will grow really fast. Some will sort of stay,
Yeah.
you know.
It's not scheduled.
It's not scheduled.
yeah.
No.
It's
you know?
it's all how Mother Nature wants it to be.
So
Yeah,
by
right.
looking at this and having this information right in front of you on a screen, it's like, oh, it's supposed to go here, but oh shit, her follicles have jumped, you know, more than this other one. Let me pair this one in week 3 instead of week 4, and I'll pair the one in week 3 to week 4.
Right.
And you switch it up, it gets right there in front of you. And you know, we had amazing success. I'm at 118 clutches right now. I got about another 40, 50 grab, and we're pairing over 100. So yeah, and we're only 6 months in. Like, you know, I'm gonna crush 300 this year.
That's epic. What's your biggest year?
237.
So you're gonna surpass the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next topic. I mean,
And that's just here.
and I feel like at this point, especially if you really are working with this partnership program with your Patreon page, the growth is looking to be like what in the next 5 years, you think? If you could really predict it.
Well, it depends. So the people that I'm working with in you know, both the US and I even have one here in Canada.
Right.
I don't want to dictate that, you know. I want to, you know, I mean, I don't want to run their company. I didn't buy half of it to take it over. I bought it because I believe in them, and I know that what I can do with them and together, you know, I can't keep growing. Like you've seen it here. Like I'm 9.5 feet high to the ceilings. I just opened up another room. Like I don't want to grow. I don't want to get more staff. I like my team. I like how it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to be more stressed out. So why do I want to give away some of these animals and hold back 300-400? I hold back 300-400 animals a year. Where are they going? I got 800 females that have to go somewhere. I only have room for 477 breeder females. You think I'm going to get rid of like visual monsoons because I got a better one? No, I want to keep those fucking things too. So you know what? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. So instead of giving away like a visual pied, a visual pied's what, $1,500, $1,500
A
for
visual
a
pied?
breeder?
Oh, breeder. Yeah, $1,500.
$1,500.
Right.
Well, with some of the animals like my DG cryptic pied, I breed that male to it. Everything's pied, double head. There's $2,000-$3,000 plus animals on an average. I get 6 eggs. It's $18,000. Or give it away for $1,500? No. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these animals that are proven breeders, putting them to other places. We breed, do this, and the people there, they grow. You know, if they have an opportunity, and I know them, that's why I picked them. If I said, hey, here's an opportunity to do 100 clutches a year and we'll make 10,000 plus a clutch, you know, there's $1 million worth of animals. Or you're going to have that with ultrasounds and all the knowledge and everything that you love, and you're going to do 10 of them. I really think these people are going to try to breed and get 80 clutches. They're not just going to sit there and do it half-assed, because they get to create, they're picking with their projects. Sometimes we talk about it, but I don't want to sit there and have to run their company, or have to be that partner that, need.
Are you making that clear from the get-go? Like, are you let them know, like, listen,
100%.
this is your fucking thing?
Yeah. 100%. And, like I said, I'm here all the time. This is like my wife. You have one. You don't want to have four. You can't even handle the one.
Unless you're in Mexico.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I know a couple guys.
This is my baby. It's hard. I'm failing in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to make this even better, more efficient. Why do I want to do this in 5 other places?
Right.
I'm doing this because, one, I have awesome animals that I'm holding back that I can't grow. So if I can't grow here, don't want to grow and expand, how do I get into these projects and keep growing what I love and what I've done for years? I can't do it here. So now if I put them in other places, so there's a bunch of projects going to this person, a bunch of different projects going here. Right. They want to get, now we can start swapping and swapping, bringing stuff here. I mean, it's still new. We've been doing this for, 6-7 months now. And there's another person that just, their racks just got in, and, animals are going down. And I have a person that has 45, they got another 15, so 60 breeder females. What should we do? Hey, I ultrasounded. I got a phone call the other day. Hey, I ultrasounded somewhere like at 11, 12, 13. Do what you want to do, man.
What about this, Billy? I mean, you obviously have belief in a lot of the things that you're willing to invest with people, but let's say you have great success with this and you got these motherfuckers making cake. What would be your advice to these people with this money? Do you feel like they should just keep it in the ball python game? Or, I mean, do you really
depends
feel like
what they want to do? Like me, I mean, I invest back. I invest a lot back into
Okay,
this.
let's time this out. There are people out there that are just happy doing the ball pythons, but they're also scared because they feel like that's not a possibility. In your eyes, if you have somebody that's making the money that they're making and they only want to do that, is that okay?
If that's what they want, yeah. I mean,
but I'm asking you, is that smart? Do you feel like, or
well, the way the market is, I've heard the market's going to crash. For the last 20 years, I've been in this.
I heard this in 2017.
Oh, you don't get into ball pythons. It's
all my green tree python breeders who are asking me for availability. Yeah, you motherfuckers. You told me that shit was saturated 2017. I'm not going to go nowhere.
Look at how many people.
Canada,
look
bitch.
How many awesome people from the boa community now are getting in. Nixon Reptiles.
Hold on, time out. Christian, come here. I want to say hi to my homie Christian.
Yes.
Morphin Endorphins. Since we're talking about boas, this guy right here.
Boas and ball pythons. I mean,
here he is, Christian. I've had Christian on the show before. Definitely a great episode. And I'm gonna spill the beans. He's a special guest coming Saturday on podcast. So looking forward to it. I can't wait, man. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. Give him a follow right now. Morphin Endorphins.
Morphin Endorphins.
One of Canada's finest. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, Nixon Reptiles. He was a part of my Patreon. Messaged me. Doing awesome stuff. Loves Ultramel too. Fucking double thumbs up, baby. But yeah, Nixon Reptiles, man.
So you have no Monarch stuff?
What's that?
You have no Monarch stuff?
I don't know.
Why is that?
People here because I prefer the palette. Just like I don't have any highway stuff because I like the palette of the freeway. That's true. Is there anything wrong with the highway? There's some highway shits that I'm looking at, like there's a highway Ultramel out there. I'm like, damn.
Can I say something though? I very small player in the game, but once I had highway, instantly started regretting when I started seeing his freeway combos. Nothing against highway. But I like highway.
Right? It's what
I like freeway.
There's some highway combos that my freeway
is
stuff
dark and dirty. I like the freeway shit.
I can't compare to the color palette. But
please go to my last post on my Instagram. Look at that super asphalt banana enchi that we posted.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's crazy. Yeah, some of them. I've got about 15 different super asphalt combos that you're going to start seeing and posting up.
And you want to talk about
Petrogenetics. There's another guys that got into this many years ago. They're the ones that have that. You know who Petrogenetics is?
I don't.
They're the ones that if you see, they have a facility and they have those honeycomb lights in the ceiling and it looks badass.
I haven't seen it.
But anyways.
That's it.
Yeah. Petrogenetics, man. They came up about 4 years ago. I'd say 2018, maybe 2019. They came up and they were just into boas. And they said, I want to get into the ball pythons. What do you think? They came up to the CRBE, hung out. Awesome guys, the brothers. And, they went out and they bought a bunch of ball pythons. And now they're fucking crushing it 3-4 years in. And it's amazing because, the ball python market's here. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's getting stronger and stronger every year. Prices are going up or being stable. but mostly going up.
Right.
The demand is so high, the supply is so low. Business 101.
Right.
People like, oh, is it, people really buying this stuff? I have a clutch that I just hatched. Okay. I got 10 eggs. I've sold 4 of those for $61,000. They haven't even they're almost in the shed. They haven't even come. I haven't even fed the things. They're sold.
What a time. I love it.
You make the right stuff. You know who you are.
Miguel said it the best. Hold on. You buy cool shit. You breed cool. You buy cool shit. You breed cool shit. You make cool shit. You sell cool shit. And that's it.
You also have to be cool shit. You have to be
cool.
customer service. You have to have a brand.
You can't be a piece of shit.
Can't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And if you are a piece of shit, I don't care how nice your animals
you ain't gonna be around.
I don't want to support you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the one thing about, I don't support cancel culture, but there are people out there that motherfucker get exposed, and they should. And I feel like that's pushing people to want to do the right thing nowadays.
But another thing too, and that's another thing too, I've said it before, before social media was so hatred.
Oh.
And then now, the last few years, especially when COVID came, everything was great. Community. Now it's just like people shitting on each other. Such negative posts.
It's a lot of up and down.
We were going on such a nice road, and now it just seems like there's so much shit happening, and it sort of sucks. And I'm trying to stay away from social media a lot too, because before it's like, wow, look at this. Now it's like, fuck this person. This person's a piece of shit. This guy
you do have a choice to eliminate yourself from that kind of surrounding.
100%.
And that's all you got to do. I feel like, because I feel if you go looking for it, you're going to get it. You know what I mean? And,
and I mean, it just sucks. I mean, it's human nature. We're always going to have, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Do what you love. Don't let anybody else tell you what success is.
Right.
People's like, oh man, you're so successful. I am, but you know what? There's a lot more. I'm going after a lot more. You need to set a goal, and then when you get there, you're going to notice that there's more goals ahead of you. Whether you want to go after them or not is up to you. Right. But 10 years ago, I didn't see this shit. I didn't see any of this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, not even close. And now that I'm here, I'm like, wow, look what else is here.
I have a true belief in this, but I want to hear it from you. But I feel like there's people that maybe don't even know their full potential because they keep a full-time job that makes them miserable. You know what I mean? There's people.
But I mean, it is scary.
It is scary. But then again, not a lot of people are meant to work for other people. And
correct.
That could hold them back.
100%. I mean, this isn't for everybody.
Are you meant to work for someone else?
No. I've owned my own business. I've been an entrepreneur since 19 years old. So I've never worked for anybody for, 32 years.
Jesus, took me 30 to be 34 to figure that out.
Yeah,
it's not easy. Like you said, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Especially America, corporate America, you're brought up to feel like you need this 9 to 5.
100%.
Fuck your family, everything. You need to be at a manager's meeting. Blah blah blah. It's a miserable life, and I see that this fucking shit is bringing light to people. Like there's people who wake up. I don't want to say names, but there's people out there that are doing so well in this game, but they still wake up, lace up their boots, mad that they have to go.
You know what? It's sad. There's a few breeders here in Canada. And I've seen them come along. I've even started them off in this industry, buying the first snake or one of their first snakes, coming for advice. 6-7 years later, they're doing okay. They're still working. They want a small collection. They do okay, but they're like, I can't really see investing more because of my time. If you did it right, you wouldn't need the work because what you love, I mean,
it comes through.
It's crazy. People are afraid to spend money, invest in themselves. I understand it's scary.
It's not easy.
So you want to hear scary?
Let's go. Let's hear it.
No fucking social media. Okay. Having a small pool of Canadian people, of about 30 or 40 people that I knew bred ball pythons. Most of them I was buying from.
The underworld.
The underworld, right? The odd YouTube video from Ralph Davis cleaning out his fucking rats and shit. And we would read his post and, it was awesome. But no info, no nothing. Here's me going out and spending $15,000 US on my first snake back in 2018. No, sorry.
No, that's not
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, I had to go back.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
2008.
You were doing good in 2018.
In 2000, I was failing, losing, getting my ass kicked. 2006, I finally figured some shit out. Wow, it's breeding. Pre-ultrasound, kept going. 2008, I did really well. 2009, let me spend some money. I had to go send a fucking bank wire to the US, wait 6 months or 5 months to get CITES approved because there was no master CITES. Had to go to the airport, pick up this animal that's somebody I've never even heard of in the States. Got an animal, bred it, and started going well. And then started doing this and getting an ultrasound in 2010. Never looking back. So here, you know, you can see people's, you know, portfolios, their web pages, their Instagram. You can see the feedback. You can reach out to people and say, hey, have you heard of this person? You couldn't do that back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I invested way back then before this market was even half, even a third, a quarter of what it is now.
The research availability on what you need to find was so
slim.
scarce.
Yeah. I went and said, fuck it. I really want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a chance. Best thing I did. Was I scared? Fuck yes. Okay. Super scared, but I did it. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't be here today. You know, you got to take chance.
Facts.
You got to take risks. But what we're doing is this isn't just a risk. It's a calculated risk.
Right.
You buy the right animal, as long as you keep it healthy and you're going to breed it and make more money, more animals to grow your collection. Or if you buy the right animal and you need to get out, I tell people, you know, I even do that. People come and buy a $5,000, $10,000 animal. I'm like, hey, if you're ever in a need or in a problem, you know, or something happens, you need to get out, I'll buy that fucking thing off and I'll give you 10% on top. As long as it's healthy. You can't lose when you buy an animal for me at the high end, because I want people to basically say, fuck, it's a lot of money, whether even it's $5 or $6 grand. If it's a proper animal, you know, I had a person that bought a dreamsicle from me for $5,000 a few years back, called me up and said, hey, Billy, I got a fucking female. She's 1,200 grams. Remember when it's like, what do you want for it? Well, you said you'd give me 10%, 5,500. I said, fuck, how big is she? She was 1,200 and something. Showed me a picture. I'm like, wow, it's so nice. I gave him 6,000. Guess what? I bred it this year and I made over 20,000.
Wow.
Because I have the right animals.
Right.
Okay. It's, you know, I understand it's scary, but you know what? This isn't something where you're going in like buying a stock you've never heard of and you just don't know how it works. And let me just buy some money in this crypto coin and go to the bank, send it in, and just, I don't know what works. Well, you're touching the snake. You're feeling, you see the industry, you see the money people are making, you see the shows, how busy they are. You see how people are doing this and enjoying it and loving it. You can do this too. It's easy. I wasn't going to bring this topic up, but Matt told me to. So it's Matt's fault. So it's all on Matt. He doesn't know what he's saying. Matt, he told me. I have text proof. I'm curious. So let's just a scenario time, right? Okay. I have ball pythons already, right? Yep. Let's say you believe in me. You go, MJ, here are some animals. Boom. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Life happens. What the fuck? Billy, will you please take these animals back? Sure, MJ, no problem. But how do you know what the fuck was in my collection? Like, are you willing to take that risk and take these animals back and not know what the fuck could have been in that person's collection or what could have been? I mean, as much as you love people, 100%. Like, I'm just curious, what would be your approach to that? Well, put it this way. Some of these people that I've been talking to and that I'm working with, they have amazing protocols. They've been doing this for years. Okay. Yes, I'm taking a risk, but right. I mean, I think a person. So you're doing a deep dive on who this person is. You know, well, I'm not doing it because of the money aspect. I'm doing it because where your animals are going. Yeah, well, it's because I know the person. I know what they've been through. I know what they're dealing with. I like them as a person. Right. I like them as an individual. I like how they think. I like how they, they have a bit of adversity and they overcome it. I like how they think, because, a lot of people that have been on my Patreon, we've gone into deep talks and stuff like this. And, I think I'm a very smart person and I listen. I've learned a lot from people. Right. I've taken a lot of things and go, wow, man, like that really sucks. And, when I get off the phone, I feel like, man, this person's so awesome. And it just really sucks that they're financially capped because fuck, if this person had some money, fuck, could they take this shit to the moon? And that's the same thing with the girls. I mean, even when I've done that, jar pythons and blue, oh my God, Lucy Land. I always think Blue-Eyed Lucy. I don't even know how you fucking keep up with these names. Yeah, so fucking fairy tale exotics. Fuck, dude. 2 young girls that are in, their parents are, in the business as well. They have, little side things. And I'm like, wow, look at the passion. Some of these girls like Kayla. I mean, fuck, she knows more genetics about some fucking people. Kayla, who's Kayla? From Lucy Land Ball Pythons. Okay, yeah, I don't know who that is. You gotta start following these, man. Support. I'm in the chondros. What do you want me to do? It's Matthew's fault.
He brings up all these weird topics
yeah,
and
so
tells me to bring it
when
up.
I
What do you
see
want me to
people,
do?
when I see people do that, man, everyone needs some love. But when I see these girls that are dedicated and they're doing this and they're sort of separated from their parents, they got their parents' guidance, and they're like, wow, 12 years old and 14 years old. Miranda, I believe, is 14 and Kayla's 12. They got such passion and what they're breeding and what they want to do. And you're sitting there going like, wow, like they know more genetics than some of the people that I've been talking to that have been doing this for a year. And I see that and it's like, wow, you know what? And, I want to mentor them a little more. I've just been so damn busy. I promised to make a phone call here and there, but I talked to them back in the day and I gave them some animals and I've helped them out. And I want to do that for some other people and even them moving forward.
I mean, since you
But
brought
people need support, but I don't look for, hey, here's a person I can dump animals on, because some of the animals I'm giving them are like, I want to see people that have everything that's needed and they're missing, the animals or the money to invest, because they're going to do well. At least I hope they will. They could fail, but I do think that, from the knowledge I have and talking to people, and I do think that I'm making a good judgment call, and I'm willing to take risks of me financially, and it will hurt me personally, but I do think I'm doing the right thing with these people. And if I'm given, I know if I was given an opportunity like this, I would fucking run it to the moon.
Right.
I
mean, because this is an impossible situation back in your day. Like, this is like unheard of to have anyone be like, hey,
if someone gave you an animal, it was because
Yeah.
it was fucking almost dead. You know what I mean? Like, here you go. Don't mind all the
take
fucking
this normal het night
don't mind these ticks. Don't mind this. Don't mind all the belly.
I don't mind that saliva that's just pouring out the mouth.
That's just I mean, it's just thirsty.
It was just taking a bubble bath. That's why there's bubbles.
It's fucking like the animals that and back in the day before we could ship and social media,
right?
We had a limited pool of animals we could buy from. And we would get the shittiest of the animals in their collection.
Like the lowest.
The one, yeah.
Right.
The one that gave you the least eggs or slug out, or the one that wouldn't eat. Here you go. It didn't work here. Good luck with it, motherfucker. Yeah, but what are you going to do? Who are you going to cry to? The other 4 people that you knew in the ball python industry?
I want to talk about another kind of bit of strategy when it comes to growth, because I mean, for instance, Billy, like if you have somebody who's willing to invest, do you recommend putting proven breeders or more subadults in somebody's hands versus hatchlings if they rather invest in hatchlings? Or
100% you go new. You go new.
Okay, I want to talk more about that.
The reason being is
shout to Matt Summers. He's somebody who just got his first clutch this year after
at
4 years in the game and raised his shit, and he just has.
Should have joined my Patreon
Matt
years ago.
Summers,
fucking guy.
is the homie right here. Thank you, Matt.
Man.
No, but he took his time. He's in no rush. He literally raised his hatchlings to get to this point to breed. So
I thought he was 4 years trying to breed.
No.
I was gonna say
4 years.
Holy fuck, you need a Patreon. You better sign up tonight.
You would not be here.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people, and I get it. And I still have guys that have awesome collections, still want it. I even do that sometimes. When you see something that's like, holy fuck, it's there. I don't have to wait 6 months to a year. Oh my God, look at it.
Right.
But you know what? You pay big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody would rather buy a pied breeder for $1,500 rather than spend $2,000 on an orange dream yellow belly pied that in 2 years will make you way better fucking shit.
Right.
Okay. So what they're doing is they're setting themselves up for fast success, but the success that you are setting yourself up for is limited because of the gene potential.
And like results are limited, meaning like you're not going to
you're producing shit that everyone else is doing with pieds or het pieds.
You're irrelevant, basically.
You need the stack. Yeah. You know what? I would rather produce high-end shit in 2-3 years, but I also tell people to buy, if they can, buy decent stuff or buy some, just no names to get, low-end stuff just to get some experience. Right. Make sure your equipment's working. Make sure you know what to look for. Make sure you're doing things right and you're getting all that experience, because I can't sell you experience and I can tell you all mine, but unless you have it, you know the feeling, that excitement.
Are you real enough, Billy, to one of your supporters to let them know that they don't have it? Like if you could see, because let's be honest, this shit's not for everybody.
What do you mean they don't have it?
They
Oh,
can't.
they
They
don't have.
can't fucking breed. They simply can't produce a snake. Every snake has
Well-
one eye. Every snake's fucking missing a bottom jaw. Like there's.
I mean,
things
that shit happens regardless.
not every year. Not. I'm just saying.
Well, when you do
are
200-300
certain habits.
touches, it fucking does.
Well,
you know,
I'm
you get
talking-
one
I'm
or
talking
two.
about the first go, or like somebody. Like,
Well, you never
I've-
know. I mean,
I've seen
genetics, right?
people that just.
Incubator
They
issues.
came in this, have their sticker on. I could probably find a couple people who gave you
Oh,
stickers and they're gone.
they're
now.
gone.
They're
100%.
fucking gone because they tried to be something that they weren't ready for.
But the thing is, you know, Chris, I think, says it all the time. These fuckers. I'm gonna try to.
Is that what Chris Ward?
Yeah, no,
Who?
Chris Eaton.
Oh, Chris. Yeah. Okay.
Some of these fuckers, you know, are putting fucking stickers up. They don't even have a fucking rack. Well, fucking, you know, some of the, you know, it's awesome. But he's right.
Hey,
You know, everything that comes out of his mouth, whether you like it or not,
it has sense.
It's fucking sense, man.
Yeah.
And I love
The
him for
truth
that.
hurts, and the truth is undisputed.
And it's true. A lot of these fuckers aren't even around, you know. But the thing is I don't want to sit there and say, don't go out and do stickers. Don't go and brand yourself because you're not going to make it. You're not going to be here. It gives you a boost. When I do a live and I'm showing someone's shirt, whether
They
they've
love
had
it.
a clutch or not, if
It's
they had
rewarding.
a bad day, it gives you
It's
a boost.
rewarding.
Hey, man, holy fuck, wow.
I've had your shout out. I've had your shout outs just get me excited.
I
Like,
hope
just
it gives you a
simple,
fucking
like,
boost to keep going
Yeah.
because this fucking sticker that you made, it should be on a shirt and a hat. It should be on a booth at an expo where you're selling fucking animals to other people to enjoy your animals and your creativity and just being, you know, there to, and you can teach people in the future. Not like I said, success isn't for everybody. Not many people can do what we do. They can try, and when people think that money is the fucking key to it all, you guys are fucking idiots because it's not. You know, I would rather have people that have the passion, the want, the desire, the experience, whether good or bad. I would like to have more, you know, well, not more bad, but a lot of bad experience, so they know
to share it, like, you know,
to know
learn.
what the
Yeah.
fuck it feels like.
Right.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, if you have money and you have none of the other shit, it's not the money that gets you here. You know, it's really not. You know, you can't control shit like the odds. You know, they're living animals. There's so much shit going on in these animals that we don't even know about. There's liver failure, kidney failure. There's fucking cancer. There's tumors. There's too much fat by
Depression.
I don't know. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, you know what? If you can control everything to the best of your ability, you know, and breed these animals, keep them healthy, feed them, you know, make your mistakes earlier or listen to other people that don't make the mistakes, your chances of being more successful is better. You know, there's people like us guiding, you know, Ozzy has a Patreon now, Justin, Miguel, Chris Eaton.
By the way, join the Trap Talk Patreon page. Please go down the link below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family today.
Yeah, you know, you're gonna get different different advice and different things on my Patreon than you are on Justin's and all yours and Chris. You know, there's so much knowledge and experience out there that, you know, I'm a part of several. You know, I'm just gonna follow Justin and just do what Justin does because, you know, he's good at what he does. He's fucking great at what he does. But guess what? There's other things that maybe he might not teach. Or I've learned so much in the last 3-4 years from my Patreon. Well, the last 2 or 3 years from my Patreon, or people calling me, asking me about questions. I'm like, you know what? I've never dealt with that. Fucking great question. I don't even know how to answer that. There's stuff that I think that I know that I must have not even seen. And someone will ask me and say, hey, have you ever noticed this? And I'm like, you know what? No, I haven't fucking noticed that.
Do you want to know?
Wow.
You want to know?
And I learned from it. And then I go, you know, and now I'm building up myself. So it's great because speaking to somebody and them asking their so-called dumb questions, sometimes, holy shit, I've never even thought of it like that, you know? And there's going to be a lot of experiences that you guys are going to have that in 20 years I've never had.
By the way, 2007, Justin Kabelka drove a Honda Civic, and there were wheels that weren't safe. That's all I got. That's all I found out on my last Georgia trip. Pretty awesome.
No, it is amazing.
That wasn't that long ago, just so you know. But anyways, I mean, my biggest thing, Billy,
you can learn from everybody.
You really can.
100%.
And guess where I learned that from? Grayer, his son.
Awesome. There you go.
Big shout out. Yeah, shout out to Lemmy Grayer.
But that's the thing, man. You know, you can learn so much. So many things from so many people. And I'll say this. Have you ever watched the movie And it's like, oh, that's an old movie. Nothing else is on. Let me just watch it
Fuck
again.
no.
It's
If it's a Sandlot, I'll watch it.
And it's like,
I love classics.
It's like, holy shit. I never saw this the first time.
Oh, right. Oh, things you don't catch.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? I've watched this, I've watched some movies 3 or 4 times, and I'll watch it again. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
when did that happen?
When did that? I've never seen this before.
The one-liners?
Same thing. I listen to when I'm driving, especially when I'm driving to Montreal stuff. I'll put on Chris Eaton's and other people's podcasts, and I'm listening, and I'm like, fuck, I never even heard that. And I even stuff like, some of the stuff like with Dr. Warren Booth and some other people, you just listen, and it's like, what the hell? Like, I don't know where I was last time, but I never heard that. Oh, wow. And it pops and it makes you think, and then you start, and it gives you some more knowledge and some more experience in the future to when whatever that situation was is now there. It's like, oh shit. How many people have messaged me about the tangled umbilical cord? Hey, Billy,
that's a tough one too.
Hey, Billy, because I saw your video of how to do it, I've saved my animal. Fucking amazing. Amazing. It's incredible. One video or how I pop, some people are like, oh, fuck, how hard do you press? I can't do it. And other people are like, thanks, Billy. I mean, little things. Not everybody's going to take some of the advice I have or things and have it like this. It takes practice. But if I can put stuff out there and people use it and it, for the benefit, awesome. And if they use it and they don't like it, they go back to like, I don't get offended because you don't cut with scissors. I don't get offended because, you cut with a razor. Like, do what fucking makes you feel comfortable. But listen to many people because everybody has something to learn, or to teach you.
I think big scissors aren't for me. I think middle-sized scissors
Wait till you see in about 2 weeks
but
when
these
he
fucking
cut.
gold. I mean, I was around you too, man. This was a great fucking. I mean, I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so either way,
I'd be nervous too.
This shit was a lot. Fucking Matt was laughing. It was not cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So check it out, Billy. I want to know some learning experiences that you've had from, let's just say, your holdback game from like 2015 to now. What are some things that you've learned that you used to do back then that you do differently? And what is the holdback game plan, period? And why you say that, I'm gonna take a piss.
Okay. So with holdbacks, I mean, the reason to hold back stuff is for future growth. If you're thinking of what I can make today, you're not understanding this business. I can sell an animal today for $5,000. Say a female, has all the genes I want, goes great with the project I'm in, but I want to make money. So let me sell it for $5,000. Well, in 2 years from now, when that female is ready, or even 3, I'm going to breed a probably 10 or 15,000 because most of my males are 10,000, 15. My highest is 40,000. A lot of them in the $20,000, $25,000 range. So if I'm breeding, say, a $15,000 or a $20,000 male to a $5,000 female when she's ready with the right genetics, I'm going to be making $15,000 to $20,000 in babies. Okay. And people are like, well, yeah, but you got to include the price of the male. No, because that male's going to 3, 4, or 5. So, he's sort of irrelevant of his price, or even if I have to take a quarter, because say I breed 4 females. So if he was $20,000, let's take $5,000 off. So I made a $20,000 clutch minus the 15, minus this, blah, 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 blah. I'm still making $10,000 in profit plus the $5,000 back of that female that I didn't sell. I'm still making a plus 3 times the profit. Now, if you do things right, that's year 1. I've turned some animals that I've bred for 5 years, and I've made a high, 6 figures, easy. Some of the males I've bred that I've held back that I could have sold. If you're selling off animals that is going to put you ahead in the future, you're crippling yourself. Now, I hear a lot of people say all the time, oh, I'm new, I'm this. I'm like, you know what? Every female that I make, I'm holding back. That's great. You sound like Will from RCR.
That's cute. Yeah.
I mean,
because at the end of the day,
but no, there's nothing wrong with holding everything back. But if you're not selling, like for myself, and I talked with Christian earlier about this. There's so many ways to be successful. There's so many ways and so many different, thoughts of success. My success might mean the different, your thoughts of success. It might be totally different.
Right.
But the way Will, I mean, I thought for 2-3 years, I never heard from him, didn't see him. He got out. Next thing you know, someone called me and said, yeah, I'm going to talk to this guy, Will. He's got some crazy shit. And I'm like, Will, what's his name? Will Morose. I'm like, he's still around? He's like, around. You should see the shit he's got. I'm like, holy shit. He didn't have a facility, didn't have staff, didn't pay for his rodents because he had his own place. He had his own facility on his own property.
Right.
He bred his own rats, put in the work, didn't have staff, had a nice small collection, did what he did, kept growing. And then he got staff and stuff like this down the road. But what he did, I couldn't have done because I needed to turn over stuff to make stuff. But did I sell everything off? No, I hold back 200-300 females or hatchlings a year, but I produce 1,000-1,500 animals. Okay, where he doesn't produce 1,000-1,500 animals, he produces probably 300, and he hold them all back. But when he starts making those animals, now that they're back, the stuff that he's gonna make is fucking insane. But guess what? I've done a little bit of that. I've made some stuff to sell. I've made some stuff to hold back. The stuff that I didn't need, I sold. And I grew a different way. But I also have a different, I like having people over at my facility. I pay for this. He has his own property. He has it, the way his is, he'd rather have, stuff that I do a lot of expos. He doesn't do a lot of expos. Am I successful or is he? We're both. But you did it different ways. Exactly. Look at the way Ozzy does stuff. He was big. He went down. Small and powerful. Look at Justin. Open up another facility.
But the thing about
success there isn't one thing about success, right?
Will Morrows comes from an era where he saw people like Ozzy build what they have. People like yourself, Justin Kabelka, and Will Morrows hasn't even even scratched the surface of what he has to show yet. Like this kid, I'm afraid kid, he's fucking straight man. But
when you see some of the stuff he has, like
I cannot wait to be there tomorrow.
What sucked about it didn't suck. What sucked for me, Will would post something. Orange Dream, Enchi, Yellow Belly Leopard. Oh, awesome. Double head puzzle clown. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What did he say? Like, pastel spot nose, yellow belly clown. Double head DG fucking pie. Like, what the fuck? It's nuts.
Hey guys, let's get this. I want you guys to share this podcast. I told Billy we'd get over 200 fucking viewers. We're at 170. We only need 30 more viewers. Share this shit right now. We're getting 200 viewers.
Most people will be happy just with the fucking animal. Never mind the double het recessive inside. Right. But he put himself there. Was it easy? No. He had stuff where he kept a lot of stuff back, didn't have sales, but he didn't need to make the sales because he went a different route that I did.
Right.
I like being on I like being at the shows. I like doing this. I like bringing people in. I have a place where I pay a lot, but guess what? People can drive. I'm accessible. You're going to see he's 2 hours away, but guess what? He's fucking successful. And the shit that the stuff that he's making that I can never catch him. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that I'm not even trying to catch him.
That's what I'm saying. Are you even in a catching position?
Different things. No.
Right.
But I've got,
as far
I've got a lot of quads.
Breeders, are there breeders out there?
I'm doing quads. I have 5 breeder triple visual males, and I'm breeding them. I've got double visual double hets. I've got double visual hets. I've got lots of it. But the stuff that I'm making is not as much or not as powerful and not as diverse as someone like Will, because he didn't have to. So, the route I wanted to go, I like to teach people and stuff. And so does he. I've had him on my Patreon as well, very knowledgeable, very successful. The route he chose is a different route than me, different route than Ozzy, but guess what? We're all fucking successful. People think you have to duplicate everybody a certain way.
You don't.
You don't.
That's actually the wrong thing to do.
It's the wrong thing to do, especially if you're doing shit like, hey, Billy, Justin will make a post. Bang, wow, hey, do you got any of this? Do you got any of this? And he's like, well, fuck, what was Justin's video today? Oh, no wonder people are messaging. If you're waiting for Justin to make something to go look for it, you're not doing it right. In my opinion.
Rat in a puzzle. You're that rat in the maze.
There's nothing wrong with looking what he does, or Ozzy, myself, Garrett Demeyer. I could fucking name off 1,000 people.
Shout out to Garrett Demeyer. I love you, buddy. I love that.
1,000 people I could sit there that I look and I'm like, wow, there's new people. Corey DeLong.
Yeah.
Seth from DD Exotics. Fucking Mershon.
Mershon Shelby. Dude, that motherfucker can drive, bro. Listen, okay. Justin Kabelka, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Shout out to your hobby, bro, but damn well Shelby has the handles. Dude, his dad named him Shelby after after
the Shelby Cobra.
right. Amazing. All I gotta say
Oh,
is
Mr. Shelby. Yeah.
please go follow Marshawn Morphs on Instagram right now.
These guys have stuff that you can look at. I mean, I can name 100. Like you look at it and go, holy fuck.
Right.
What's that? I need to get into that.
So
It's you don't just have to follow the big guys. There's so many people being creative. There's so many stuff that's being done that, you shouldn't be chasing. You should look at it. And so many people that on my podcast all the time. Have you heard about this new zebra? Have you heard about this thing? Have you heard about this one? Have you heard about this? I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. How come you should have it? Why?
Right.
Tell me why. You know what I mean?
fucking Pixel or what's there's
Pixel. That's Justin. There's Pixels. There's Zebra. There's what's the one? Zawadi.
Zawadi. I got some Zawadi. Shout out to Matt.
There's some nice stuff out there.
Yeah.
But guess what?
All untapped.
What I need is more shit to make the shit that I have now that I love even better.
Yeah, it needs more shit to make it this shit.
I need more shit to make my shit even better. Making it more the shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, if I get a new gene, I have to start working it in, putting years in. Like, you know what? I'm doing so well with my stuff. If it's that great, I'll just go buy the fucking visuals with all the money that I'm making off the fucking amazing shit I keep making.
So let's bring a fucking typical situation for a lot of people who don't have this kind of space, okay? And they're out there like, Billy, what do I do?
Work with projects.
I get 30 clutches a year.
Yeah.
What should my holdback game be? So there's people out there who can't hold back everything. So what should they hold back?
It depends on what the projects you want. And that's the thing. Like, that's why with my Patreon, I do one-on-ones. What do you want to do? What's your goal? What's your budget? What's your space? What's your time like?
I got a better question. At what point do you focus on getting males versus females?
So,
good question. Huh?
Yeah, it is. I don't like having a male. So when I hold back animals, especially females, I don't have a male picked out for them yet. I have a project where I'd like them, So if I have a bunch of stuff that I have that I know growing up, like I have so many super orange dream double heck clown pieds, pastel super orange dream fire double heck clown pieds, yellow belly OD pastel pied heck clown, vice versa. So I'm not going to start making next year more of the same shit. Now I want to get Enchi, maybe leopard, maybe hurricane, different genetics, GHI that I think is going to go good in that project. So I keep holding stuff back so I have a good diversity. Then what happens when they're, 800, maybe a year in, I'm like, okay, I've got 4 females and I need to get at least 1 or 2 males that is going to go here. If I have yellow belly in the male, and I won't put those to anything yellow belly in the females, just like any bell complex. But what I'll do is I'll get a male with yellow belly to go to the stuff that has non-yellow belly, and I'll get another male to go to the stuff with the yellow belly. So I'm making a diversity.
And you're able to ID it.
Right. But even there, it gets sort of hard as well. Now, with the males, I like how I don't go buy a male to sit there, because my theory is if I have females, they're built in a group already.
Right.
So I have females stacked together, usually 3 or 4. I get the male. That's a breeding group. Then another breeding group. But I do a bunch of these things. And then eventually it keeps growing. And then I get another male and it goes smaller, and then another male, and then I break it up, and then I crisscross them all over the place.
Right.
But what happens is if my females are already allocated to breeding groups, now I go get this powerful male, and I've seen guys do it. Drop 25K on a fucking 3-gene visual male. Great. What females? Because you don't have any triple hets.
What are you going to do with it?
What are you going to do? Now, I'm going to make triple hets. But what are you doing? Now you're weakening. You're taking females.
Taking space.
You're
going to hold that shit back.
Now you're taking females away from your projects. Now you're weakening those projects to make another project, which is long-term.
Wow.
So what I do is, unless I have females that I don't know what I'm doing, or that male, that project's dead, that I don't need that male because he's gone off to somebody else, or I don't need that project because I have a lot. Now I can get a new male that fits perfectly with those females to make that group solid. If not, I suggest go get 3 or 4 females, different combinations, put it out there, raise them up, buy a male, do it that way. Because so many people, and I've seen it on my Patreon, I've got this group, they got all these like 5 or 6 really strong groups. Then they go get an awesome male that's fucking great. I'm like, wow. They start chipping away and making these great projects weak now. And then they don't hit the odds. They get fucking all males, no females. Well, you just took an odd away. You just took 6 to 8 babies away to give you those extra odds,
Right.
So in other way, you can do well and hit the lottery, or I like playing it safe. I like really building projects and will, I mean,
here's the thing, like playing it safe is not a bad thing to do. Like
No,
you're
it's
still
not.
going to be fine. Like
correct. But if you can control, so, a lot of people do 1-to-1. Okay. 1-to-1, it's great if they're both breed the year they're ready. Okay. What happens if one goes off of food, one reabsorbs, one gives you slugs?
anything.
You got nothing.
Yeah.
You got 0. Now, if you're chasing 1 in 16, 1 in 32, 1 in 64, 1 in 8, for fuck's sake, sometimes. You got one female lay 6 eggs, you miss the odds of 1 in 8. 1 in 16, you really miss it.
Wow.
If you've got 3 other females, now you got 4 chances of hitting that. Now you have that. You get that male, double visual. You breed it back, you're on fire. It speeds it up. And like I said, time, it's your best friend or it's your enemy. When you're chasing and you're missing, time hurts because now you get another shot next year. Oh, I'll just buy the male then. What happens if it's not for sale? There's some shit that I'm into. I can't even buy a fucking male. Even if somebody wanted 50 grand, I'd pay it for the time I'm saving. No one has the animal that I want. So guess what? I got to wait till next year and pray to fucking God that I hit. You want to have more shots at hitting and fighting the odds that are against you that you can't control.
Definitely don't need any names, but for somebody that's in your position right now, do you feel like there's certain people out there that just won't want to sell you a snake because they probably don't want to see you continue? Because
there could be. I mean, to me, you know what? I mean, that's a pretty shitty mentality.
But it's out there. I mean,
I wouldn't doubt it. There could be. I mean, if it's an animal that I want, I'm sure that they're going to have many people that want it. It's going to be something that
how often are you inquiring animals? I mean, do you even?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I get caught up in things and I get sideswiped.
Right.
There's animals that I acquire, and if somebody doesn't want to sell me a snake, it's a snake that probably is rare, or they will definitely find a buyer. It's not like they have 40 of them and it's like, no, I'm not selling one to Billy. They're like, fuck Billy, please, here, I'll give you half price on the second. Take a couple.
Right.
So when I'm acquiring about something, it's a double visual, triple visual. It's a powerhouse. I won't buy a male pretty much under 10,000 anymore unless it's the right fit. I'm looking for some clown pied stuff, and I'm like, I called Corey DeLong and some other people that I know are making amazing shit. Help support them. And
how tapped in?
All I got is this. All I got is that. I'm like, I'm looking for something more. It's like, yeah, I'm not selling that. Yeah, I wouldn't either. They know the game, and I love it that they do that.
How tapped in are you to the European market?
I'm pretty good. I go to Ham every year, or I have besides the last 2 years because of COVID. I know a lot of people out there. They got amazing stuff. I bring a lot of amazing animals in. There's another market there too, which if you can't get it here, you can get it over there.
How much of your production goes to Europe and other countries? I mean, are you
Europe right now isn't as much. Most of it goes to the US, a lot in Canada, but mostly in the US.
What's more competitive that you would say? Like what's one country that you
the
like
US? The US is just awesome. I mean, they understand the business, they see it. Canadians, I'm sorry to say, they're still afraid. They're afraid to spend money.
Don't be scared, Canada. Let's
like
go.
I said, there's a lot of people that work and keep their ball python game small. And it's like, why don't I don't really have the time, works a lot. And I'm like, fuck, if you did this right, you wouldn't have to work.
Connor needs braces.
What's that? Is that a reference to something?
No, Connor. I mean, the typical white family names a
Connor
kid either Connor or Skylar.
I get it. It's scary. I get it. You know what? And another thing too is when you invest money, it's not happening in 6 months. It's going to take a year or 2 or 3, depending on how set up you are with the females. But if you do this right, you buy the right fucking animals, there's no way you cannot make money in 3 to 5 years. And I mean good money. The more you spend, the more you will make, providing you take care of the animals, the genetics, you buy at the right time, you buy the right stuff, you market yourself. You don't just spend money and sit back and fucking wait. You got to work. I work hard, and I should be working harder. And I work fucking hard, and I know I should be working harder. I'm also trying to work smarter. And when you're working so hard, you can't even realize how to work smarter because you're working fucking hard. You can't have time to think about working smarter.
You got to have balance.
Having my girl Georgia from the social media manager that worked, has been such a blessing because it's taken a big
Big
oh my God, I got to
fucking load
post.
off
I got to
your
post.
chest.
It's amazing.
That
But
shit
guess
is
what?
tiring, bro.
It is. But you know what? I've used that to do other things, but I'm still behind.
Right.
You know, don't try to get big fast. Grow into it because
it's gonna happen.
I didn't grow this fast. I've been doing
God
this for a
damn.
while. I got an amazing team, and we're still fucking slacking. And you know, I'm doing well. I'm happy. There's so much more I need to do, and I'll get it. I'll find it because I don't quit. I'm finding ways to change things I don't like, and it doesn't happen like, oh, just do this and it works. Oh, thanks, Billy. No, I mean, it takes a lot of adjusting. You got to change your habits. You know, some things come a little easier than others. Some you have to really, you know, try and see if it works out. You know, I could do a lot of things, but now how are my staff going to accept it? Oh,
Right.
I got to have their considerations as well. You know, let's do this. Hey guys, I just bought another 10,000 snakes. Oh, fuck you, Billy. Like, fucking, you're an asshole. Like,
I mean, if
you
it's
know,
if it's
you got to work and think about everybody else besides yourself. And, you know, if I'm not doing things great now, why keep growing? And that's why if I can, you know, grow with other people, use their heart, their passion, their grind, their knowledge, their want, their work, their drive, and I can give them stuff that I already have. Now I'm sort of alleviating some of that and helping somebody else that's going to be, I would say, grateful because what I'm doing for them is now in a year or two giving them, like, if everybody that I'm working with doesn't make, you know, a good 6 figures a year, I'm doing something wrong, or they're not doing something right at all. I mean, it's, you know,
how are you delegating change to the crew? I mean, obviously dealing with change one-on-one is something, but when you have to adapt your crew to this change, how do you approach that?
well, a lot of times too, like, I mean, I said, hey, you know what do you think about me taking the podcast room out and doing this? You know, oh, I think that's a great idea. And, you know, what do you think about this? You know, sometimes, you know, I get, yeah, that's a great idea. Sometimes it's like, yeah, do we really need to? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And, I guess, you know, for the most part, if I'm going to decide something, you know, they see the benefit of it, or
Right.
it's not just doing it because, fuck, I'm bored. This is
Everything has a plan. Everything
it has a plan.
Right.
There's a change for the better.
Right.
You know, like now having the whole back room, you know, on, you know, when I moved, I had the whole back room and the adult room, because, you know, I didn't really want people coming into the facility,
Right.
going in there unless I brought them in. And plus I had two different controls, two different ways.
Right.
It was awesome to divide it. And then I had everything in the middle.
Right.
Now it's like, well, I have this big room, you know what? People coming in and they're, you know, it's like, why don't I have it now where I even have a third room? And doing that, I think is great. And now building that fourth room for the adult males to see. And worst comes to worst, if it doesn't do any change, what did it hurt? You know, but
Right.
I get to do something, because I don't know how many people could you sit there and make 4 different rooms in your place you have now?
Fuck no, I wish.
Most people couldn't. So imagine I do this in the future, say, hey, this is what worked. I saw this. I noticed this. I noticed this over the last year and a half. When people start moving out and building their own facilities or building a place in the backyard, what the fuck are they going to do? Well, hopefully they're going to go, wow, Billy had a separate room for the adult males compared to the females. This was his results. It was such a great success. I'm going to do it too. You know, hopefully that's what people are going to get out of it. Or I'll say, you know what, I didn't really see a notice. They both, you know, I still had the same number of males breed, not eat than I did when I had them in the same room. But why not try it? I mean, you know, and I think it's a little cool now, because now it gets me more females into the room.
Now, if it's one thing that is obviously a huge predicament, but a huge factor for anybody up and coming in this is a financial. You know, obviously they invest, but you got to be smart. What's your advice to anyone, or what is it that you feel like is important to invest in shit like an ultrasound and stuff like that? Like, I mean,
you know, it's a topic that, you know, old school people, they don't need one, and you don't need one. You know, you don't need an ultrasound. I swear by it. Most people on my Patreon that they get discounts. So people on my Patreon get discounts. So, you know, you get about $700-800 US, up to $1,000 US off the ultrasound, you know, just being on my Patreon. And people that have bought it, holy fuck, game changer. Best thing I ever did, blah, blah, blah. And not only, you know, do you need one? No, I don't need, I can walk home, take me 3 hours. I could skateboard home, take me 2 hours, or I can get in my car and drive and get me there in 20 minutes. I don't need a car, but I fucking want one. I swear by it. When you have a car compared to walking, you're going to want to keep the car. when you use an ultrasound and know how beneficial it is to you, you don't need an ultrasound, but believe me, you'll fucking, want it. So many people, big breeders here that have sold animals, breeder females, someone got them home, next day laid fucking eggs. I tell you one thing, there's never a fucking, no one on this planet will ever buy a breeder female from me that's gravid. You know why? Because my ultrasound tells me there's no fucking eggs in it.
It ain't happening.
It ain't fucking happening. I know
this guy.
I know when to pair. I don't know, but if somebody can breed 17 fucking females with a male without ultrasounding, I like to shake their fucking hand. That's for one. Because I don't think it's possible. The success that I've had, not wearing out my males, breeding at the right time, even things where, I'm sure palpating you can sort of see, but having those measurements on Husbandry Pro where I can look at it and say, oh, wow, this female is a little higher, so I'm going to pair it a week earlier, or even 2 weeks earlier, depending on how it's, that little thing could be an egg or two or even a full clutch. But what people like, especially new people, okay, it's a $2,000, $3,000 device that is going to make you understand what's going on. Is she gravid yet? Is she building? I think she's bull wrapping. Well, why fucking think when you can put an ultrasound down and it's not hard to use? Holy shit, she is building. Oh, she's not ready yet. Let me put the male in. Or when the female's gravid, people are still putting food in and breeding a male. She's gravid already. She ain't gonna fucking eat. Or in my scenario, I don't feed after 3 centimeters. So you're putting a male in to a female, wasting him, stressing him out when she's already gravid. It's useless.
Yeah.
Why put a rat in? Oh, should I feed it? I don't know. Or people saying, oh, my female stopped eating for 3 weeks. I think she's gravid because she's not eating anymore. Meanwhile, you're not feeding her, or she's not, there's something else, and you wait 3 months or 4 months and realize she's not even fucking gravid.
That male, I almost like that ball python male that I told you I almost killed, by stretching it, would have never happened if I had an ultrasound.
Yeah, because you would have known. Yeah, not to put in or how many times.
And do I have one? No.
Yeah, best thing, man. You should join my Patreon and get one on a discount after 3 months or 6 months.
Will you join mine if I join yours?
Am I going to learn anything?
God damn it. All my trappers learn something, bro. This family grows on the daily. Matthew, back me up on my Patreon page.
There you go. I have to. I'm you should feel bad. I should feel bad because I'm not on yours. I'm on Will's. I'm on Justin's. I'm on fucking Chris Eaton's.
You're on Chris Eaton's, bro? This is the coolest reptile podcast in the world, bro.
Yeah. I'm
not the oldest.
I have to, just for support, man. And that's the thing. I do it just for support, man. Like, I mean,
I love you. Honestly, your support is something I've gotten from the beginning. So
I appreciate it.
I love it.
I want to see people do well. Like I do. You know what? If only the top people are making money and doing well,
right?
Why the fuck would you invest money if everyone else is failing? You know why? Look at some of these people, 2-3 years, what they're making and what they're doing. Herbert, like, you know what? Wow, this is year 1. Fuck, wait till you see this monster in 4 years from now, 3 years from now. It's crazy.
Herbert. I love that name, by the way. Herbert. Such a sick
there's
name.
so many people just fucking killing it. Like, wow. And you see what they're doing now? It's nuts.
Right.
Mike.
Insane clown posse?
Insane.
Yeah, insane.
Fuck, I'm afraid to
posse. Insane
clown
pythons.
I'm afraid to see that fucker in 2-3 years. That's fucking crazy.
And honestly, man, you understand he came in new and heavy in the beginning.
And heavy, yeah. Not many people can't come in, but you know what?
It's not easy to do.
Miguel came in after he sort of made a couple fuck ups. He came in fucking what? Wow.
Yeah.
He came in heavy.
Right.
Ask him if it was worth it.
And that motherfucker had doubters.
Here's somebody that went and borrowed $47K off of the 47K off the 401K.
And made it happen.
And turned 47 into 200, like 4 or 5 times their money within a fucking year, because they knew what they were doing. They got the right stuff. They had some experience. Now they just added some money. If they just went and said, oh, hi, we're going to get into the ball pythons. Let me go get 47 grand from the 401K and let's just spend it. Oh, cool. I got some of this. None of those genetics work. You got all males, not enough females. You did it wrong. Right. You really got to know, have a plan, have a project, build these little projects, put the work in. You need to get on social media. You need to learn, need to be a part of the community. Like he said, meet people, learn, ask questions, whether you think they're dumb or not. You need to learn. You need to listen. Stop making mistakes and do things that we know are pretty much 80, 90% going to give you success, instead of trying to fucking do what we did with no guidance at all. And fuck up. It took me 6 years before I actually, I'm having a lot more females breed. When you breed 6, 7 females and you got one, What's going on?
I mean, how many people really know, especially part of your Patreon page, like the shit you went through to get where you're at?
Oh, I'm open about it, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we did back in the past, and you hear other people's stories.
Right.
Man, it was shitty.
Right.
You know,
but here you are.
Yeah. I mean, I endured it. I mean, I went through a lot of shit and a lot of failures, but I wanted to do it. And I'm sitting there going, well, how the fuck did these guys do it? Like, there's got to be a way. I'm going to be doing something wrong. Right. I had no one to ask what I was doing wrong. And a lot of the stuff too, I started meeting some people that were actually, helpful down the road. And it's like, fuck, oh yeah, I did this last year. Why the fuck would you do that? Oh, because this guy told me. Oh, he really tried to fuck you. I'm like, well, obviously, but I didn't know. I mean, you figure people would help you. Right. You're spending money with them and stuff, but they would sabotage you. Right. And it sucks. Like, you hear stuff now. I mean, back in the day, you got to wait for 3 years old and 1,500 grams or more. That's when you breed. You have to do this. You have to lower your temps. You can only breed between October, November, and February, January, or February, March. That was breeding season only. That's all horseshit. Right. Or the best one was, well, if you breed them too young, you're only going to get 3 or 4 eggs, and she's only going to give you 3 or 4 eggs for the rest of her life. That's horseshit too.
What's young?
I do 18 months. Okay. So 1.5 to 2 years, depending, but I don't speed feed them. When they get up to the size, if a female is in my holdback, from my holdback room into my adult room, she's at least 1,200 grams or up, 1,150, 1,200, constantly eating well. If she is building follicles on her own and over 1,200 grams, I breed her. Okay. Okay. And the reason being is in the wild, do you think a snake slithers up and says, hey, sweetheart,
hey,
I want to breed. How much you weigh?
How much you got?
Oh, shit. You're only 13. I'll come back next year when you're 1,500.
Work on that back.
It ain't going to happen. If she is, people say, oh, you're going to have small clutches. You can. I've had 3 and I've had 10. First year breeder female, 1,200 grams. By the time she got up to size, she was over 1,800 grams. When she dropped, she was under 9. Gave me 10 fucking eggs, first year breeder. Okay. And then I've had one that laid 5. The next year she laid 7. So that's all horseshit you hear. I think back then, I don't know this for a fact, but what I'm thinking is a lot of that stuff is like, how do I get these new guys? I've been doing this. They're buying my shit. They've got the same stuff I have, especially when the community was small. How do I get them to breed later so that they're not in competition with me, so I have another year on them? Oh, let me tell them you need 3 years old to breed and 1,500 grams, especially when we were lowering temps. Because when we lowered temps, all of our animals would go off food. So it took you 3 years or so to get the animals the size. Right. So if you were breeding them at 13, 12, 1,300 grams in year 2, you had a year advantage. And you still ask me, I have a female that's showing all the signs of building. She's around 1,300 grams. Should I breed her now or should I wait till next year and get more size on her to get more eggs? Smack. Yeah. What I say is if that was me, I would pair her. Yeah. As long as she's eating, okay, regularly, she's going through the signs of building, she would naturally do that in the wild. And that's what I do. And I've had great success.
I've always had true belief in that because nothing stops Mother Nature from happening when it needs to go down.
But it's your choice.
It is your choice.
If you want to wait for another year, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But to be a year ahead, even with 4 or 5 eggs,
has a big difference.
Huge difference.
Right.
Huge difference.
And people need to understand too the amount of weight they're at before they lay. You understand they're breeding them at 1,300 grams. By the time they get, they're gonna be 2,000 grams. And
correct. And in the 3-4 months before they get up there.
Right. Correct. And I mean, listen, to each their own. But I always thought about that. Because people try to instill in your brain, oh, they need to be this age, they need to be this. But I'm like,
you're gonna get small egg clutches forever.
Who's checking IDs in the wild? Yeah, like who the fuck? Like what ball python fucking captain is like? Excuse me, what's your ID? All right, go handle that. You're good to go.
Well, you know what? It might actually be true. Wait till Dave Kaufman's ball python video comes out. He may have documented somebody getting ID'd. You never know. Yeah, you never know. Right. You never know. We got to wait for Dave's Kaufman's fucking video. We might just see ball pythons in the wild get carded or ask for weight, getting on a scale. You never know. Have you been down in a termite mound?
No.
Do you know if there's a scale down there?
No, dude.
Imagine there's like a little scale with like a pole, and the snakes go on there and slither, and then it weighs itself, and it's like, yeah, it's good to go, and they go off and slither off into a room and breathe. No,
I mean, understand how many things live in shit like termite mounds. You know what that means? Fucking, you're away from everything. You're in a dark, hidden place, and I don't know. There's one thing I feel like that I wish needs to chill the fuck out is ball pythons being in 4x2s and fucking, with perches and shit like that. Listen, I understand a ball python with perch, but I understand a ball python's happier when it's not being looked at.
Yeah, and also you can control the environment and the temps, the humidity, which matters most. They need to thermoregulate. When you're trying to have a big enclosure and trying to get a good, 90, 91, 92, 89 on one side over here in this big, it's very hard to keep the humidity and keep the temperatures for that animal and keep it secure and feeling dark, and they're nocturnal. They don't need red fancy lights at night. They really don't. But if you want to keep it that way and the animal thrives, great for you. I'm not going to tell you differently. But for what I do and what I've seen to control the temps and the feeding, I get more people in tanks and big enclosures calling me going, hey, my animal's stressed. My animal doesn't want to eat. What do I do? Than people who have rack systems.
Right.
That's just a fucking fact without even sugarcoating it.
And a lot of those people can't accept the fact that why you want this snake in a fucking 4x2 is that's because you want it there.
Correct.
You want to see it.
Correct. And you want the red light at night so I can see him at night when he comes out. He doesn't want to see you when he comes out.
No fucking names, man. But I will blame Justin Kabelka for this. All of a sudden there's fucking ball python people that want to get into chondros. They want green tree pythons now. And the reason,
good luck. You know what?
Yeah, good fucking luck coming to me with questions. I ain't gonna answer your stupid questions.
The stuff that they need, the caring, the feeding, the breeding.
Let me elaborate on this.
So hard.
I have somebody coming to me. I have somebody coming to me asking me, how would you establish or how would you take in a brand new neonate, maybe baby green tree python? I give them my rundown. I keep it in a rack, blah blah blah, in real container, real small area, right? And they're like, well, what about a Focus Cube 2x2? Shout out to the sponsor. I love Focus Cube, but if you put that fucking hatchling in a fucking 2x2, you better never talk to me ever again.
They have those cool looking ones that spin out.
But fucking what's a cool dead chondro? Fuck
no, but what I'm saying is Focus Cube have those.
I love it. I love it.
What's the Focus Cube little? The way it's shaped and you pull them out.
Yeah, they're called the Cambro tubs. You're talking about the actual the actual clear tub,
the little clear tub that's
those are awesome.
Those are awesome for
those. What you want to put
that's
in.
what you need for them to get them established, and
tubs.
then you move them into a proper one with a radiant heat.
Billy knows, god
100%.
damn it. Billy's not even a chondro guy. He knows this, and that's why I shout to Focus Cube Habitats. They have the Cambro tubs, where they know that you got to establish it first, and then you put it in a fucking so you can enjoy it. But everybody wants what they want. It's because what I want to look at it.
It looks so much better in here when people come over.
Damn, bro, like
it won't when the thing's dead.
Exactly. Show it a fucking goddamn icicle.
What was in this? Oh, it was a chondro. What happened to it? You sell it? No, it died because I'm fucking an idiot. Okay.
Now, let's talk about some of the great side projects you have going on here. I don't like spiders, but it is pretty impressive that you have some really awesome tarantulas.
It's just a collection,
just a fun.
Yeah, I'm not breeding them. I just like to look at them. I like to see them. I like to, I'm still spooked. I don't really handle them. I think I've handled them maybe 3 times. It's only really one. I can just, enjoy them, look at them, different species, different colors. They're cool. I'm downsizing a little. But
the spider game, you're downsizing.
Yeah, just, because of the space. Like when I had the podcast room, now I don't want to keep any species in there. But, I want to downsize. I still want to keep some of them. So I keep some of the ones that I really, really like. Some arboreal, some, I guess they call them terrain. And then other ones that dwell. I got a good variety, and that's just more for me personal.
What about the Pokemon collection?
Oh, I still have it.
Obviously, but what about it? I want to talk about what the game plan is with that.
I don't know.
Those are getting more expensive as you have them, correct?
Yeah. So, I bought some. I've also sold some. I bought a couple that I paid $1,500. I think I paid $1,500 for one and $1,000 for another. So $2,500 US for a pair. And I got them early and they were graded. Okay. Now the grading company no longer grades them.
Oh.
So the one that I have, there's only 53 in the world that are graded. And the other one, there's 112. So now I've been seeing on eBay, most of them are going for like tens of thousands.
Jesus.
So basically, if I put them up for the 2,500 that I paid, I can make a quick 10 to 15K just on those. So that's just one example, but that's, pretty rare because the company is never going to make them again. So it's pretty cool that I got them early. So
Really
there's
awesome.
other stuff that I've got that I want to have sets. I've still got a couple sets that I got to finish and have some pieces, but I'm not going as crazy into a lot of the ways because the more it's like ball pythons. Wow. I saw a bumblebee ball python at an expo. And then I saw a thing called an orange dream. Oh, have you checked out Morph Market? No. Then you're like, what the fuck? The deeper you look, the bigger it gets.
Right.
There's so much Pokemon stuff in different languages. And it's like a hole you'll never get out of. So I'm sort of concentrating on certain time periods, and I'm doing the older stuff, Wizards of the Coast.
That's awesome. Wow, damn, you're really geeking out.
Yeah. So
Wizard of the Coast, fucking
yeah,
Billy.
yeah. So I'm
I'm
doing all the old stuff, a lot of the vintage stuff, but my collection is worth very, a good 6 figures,
Nice.
$250,000, give or take.
Respect.
But
That's awesome.
yeah, I still want to add to it and stuff, but. There's a lot of things I want to get into and I'm investing in and I'm growing and, I'm looking forward to what the future does with the people that I'm working with now and some other people that I want to work with,
Right.
And it's great because not only have I got future business people, I got people, that I can work and deal with and work with, but I got people that I know on a personal basis and, and I love messages from like Herbert and other people like, hey, because of you, Sean Gallagher from LHT Reptiles. He's been, not my longest, but one of my longest Patreon people. Awesome. From where he was a few years ago to now, I mean, he's just cranking out clutches, hitting some amazing stuff, is invested in some solid animals with great discounts. And, he's helped me, do things with Husbandry Pro to help build it. And just an awesome guy all around. And, consider him a friend. There's a lot of other people on there that I've got to know personally and helped out. And I know that the advice I give them, if they take it or they at least think about it and analyze it and maybe twist it with some other people's and put it to work and follow a good majority of myself and other people's, opinions and experience, they do well. And you see it. And they're so awesome that, hey man, because of you, it's like, no, it's, you listen. And I'm glad I could be here to give you some stuff and opinions because I know, what I've done and what's worked for me. And I don't give advice that I don't do, the advice I give you, I do the same shit. I don't tell you one thing and do another. That's a piece of shit.
Right. Also something from the past, which
God,
you've dealt with.
I used to love going and they're like trying to sell you shit. It's like, oh man, you got to see this. Such a great project. It's awesome. I can give you a really good deal. It's like, cool. Can I see the adults? Oh, I don't have any. Oh, what do you have growing up? Oh, I don't have any. Well, if it's so fucking awesome, why are you trying to sell it to me when you got none in your rack?
What are you selling?
And I sat there and went like, how fine? And I would leave. I'm like, what a fucking douchebag.
Right.
You're trying to sell me on a project, but you have none of it in your rack.
You're selling me air.
And you're trying to get like, what the fuck? You're like, horrible.
You're selling me fucking air.
And what's good, and I know people like that when they come here, they know I'm just like on camera, I'm not just hyper and fucking spazzing out because
this is what
I'm like
he
this
is.
all the time.
And
people know me, but they can
and
come
for
here.
Somebody who's hyper, I realize what hyper is. Recognize hyper.
But I love showing people my collection, what you can do, how to do it, and if someone's willing to invest in an animal, like buy some females. I would rather, I'll say like, hey man, if you buy some of these high-end animals from me and you're local, especially, or somewhere where I know that, you're taking a risk. If something happens to you, I mean, I'll buy some of these animals back at 10% on top because I want you to invest and feel that you're safe, because I don't want you to do this. It's like, oh shit happened, Billy. Fuck you, throw me the life preserver, Billy. Fuck you. Speed up the boat. Like, I ain't fucking like that,
Step on their head.
And I want to see people because I know if they do this right, they don't need to and they won't because what I've given them is fucking proper. It's not like, hi, take this animal. It's a fucking spider or something. You'll do great with it. Buy 12 more, Fuck, I don't give you shitty advice. And I do think everything I say, comes from the heart, and it comes from my experience, and everything I do, try to help people with. I do believe it's going to do well. And the reason why I know I've been doing Patreon now, this is my 3rd year. And even before that, people's advice that I've given, they're still doing amazing. And I've still got people messaging me saying, hey, Billy, man, 5-6 years ago, I took your advice and I finally did this. I finally quit my job. Wow. And it's not all because of me, but I gave them the motivation or the inspiration, or like Herbert. Hey, I watched you on someone's fucking thing and it made sense. He reached out, we talked, he started looking and said, look, I want to do this.
But he also did something about it.
Yeah, he did something about it. And wow, I get so many more people, so many more success stories for people to fucking sit there and get off the couch and do it. And the more I spend, the more I make.
That's it.
That's just how it is. And people are like, well,
scared money don't make money.
100%.
Damn it.
I think Justin said it once. I listened to a lot of his old YouTube stuff. He was driving in a car, I think, to the airport to sell some snakes to fucking like Venezuela or some shit. It's like, wow, what the fuck? So he's driving and he was talking. People, asked like, how much is too much to purchase a certain snake? And Justin said there really isn't a price on a snake. It's if it's the right snake for the right project that's perfect for you, there really is no price. And I sat there and thought about what he said, and I'm like, you know what? I bought my first freeway at $15,000 back in 2009. $15,000.
Damn.
If I spent $500,000 on it, I would have still made money. I only paid
profitable.
15.
Right.
And you know what? Can you do me better than 15? I even bitched at the 15.
Yeah.
You know what? I've made over $1 million fucking dollars, and I still have animals. I'm still making money off of that $15,000 investment. The pastel crystal that I bought for $21,500. Okay, Tom Baker, rest his peace.
Right.
Rest in peace. Bought that animal. 21.5. Even before I knew it was het monsoon. The very first 2 years, I made $200 and almost $250,000 in the first 2 years. He did 13 clutches year one with the ultrasound, and 25 clutches in the first 2 years.
Wow.
So $250,000 in the first 2 years off that $21,500 US animal. To this date, with what I have, I've made probably $1 million or more off of that animal.
Yeesh.
Okay.
I love it.
So imagine, hey man, it's $150,000. Oh my God, that's crazy. If I spent $150,000, do you think it was worth it when I made over $1 million? Fuck yeah. So if the animal is right, and I've had somebody on my Patreon say, hey, Billy, here's an animal. I know what they had because they send me their list, and they're like, here's an animal. What do you think it's worth? And I'm like, is it posted? I'm like, yeah. So I went on Morph Market. It's like, oh, fuck. It was $18,000. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah, it's a little pricey, $14,000, $15,000. $15,000 is what I think it's worth. But I said, first, I know what you got. It's a fucking perfect animal for you. So that animal, with what you have growing up, and you're ready for it. You are ready for this animal. This animal is going to do you so much good. So I said, it's $3,000 overpriced, but it's the only one out there. So if you snooze, you lose. And I said, for $3 extra grand, okay, so you're worried, should I really spend it? Should I maybe talk him down a bit? And I'm like, listen, nothing wrong with saying, hey, will you take 17 shipped, or, don't insult them. But I said, it's $18,000. You're going to breed that animal to your super orange dream, yellow belly, Enchi, fucking some like $12,000 female that's already grown that he got from Ozzy. Right. He's got another animal from Justin. I'm like, this animal's like the perfect fit.
It's ready. Yeah.
Every fucking clutch you have, one egg is going to be worth $3,000 or more.
Yeah, it's a done
deal.
So
if you worry about overspending $3 fucking grand, you're going to lose 100. So wow. If you think about that, that's awesome. Stop buying snakes because, I think it's and you know what? I've said it before. There was a snake from Ozzy, $5,500. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? 5 minutes later, it's like, hey, Ozzy, will you take 55? Will you take 5,000? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I waited. 10 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'll pay 55. He goes, dude, it's sold. I'm like, what?
Damn.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. That $500 I was trying to save cost me probably $50,000 over the last 4 years. I'm trying to save 500. Save 500, cost me 50 or more. Stop buying animals because of what you think the price is worth.
Right.
Because like Justin said, an animal that's the perfect animal for your project with everything you need, there is no fucking price.
Right.
And you'll notice this 5, 10, the longer you do it, the more you realize. Because if I spent $500,000 for my first freeway in 2019, people would have said, 2009, people would have thought I was a fucking idiot. You are the most stupidest person buying that animal for $500,000. You're an idiot.
Right.
13 years later,
different scenario.
I'm no fucking idiot,
Yeah.
but I only paid $15K. So stop buying animals because of price. Buy it because it's the perfect fucking fit for your collection. Because year after year after year, even if it's twice the price, you will fucking win. You will get in projects, make animals for your whole back, enjoy the beauty. You cannot lose.
All right.
You cannot lose.
So listen, before we get this wrap-up question up and loaded for Billy, I want to say once and lastly, shout out to Straight Fire Reptiles for sponsoring this episode, making this episode possible, because this has been one of the best times I've had on my podcast. So thank you so much, Billy. But I have a question for you, and I feel like it's a real important one.
Shoot.
Because man, confidence is key in this. You gotta believe in yourself, right?
100%.
But how do you develop hold on. Regroup. So confidence, right?
Okay.
Determination is a big thing in this, right? You got to be determined, right? But intimidation is also a big thing in here, right? There's people that come in here and they just feel like they're intimidated. They're not worthy enough for whatever reason. There's something that's holding them back. What is your advice for anyone out there dealing with that? And how would you make the first step getting something from intimidation to determination? I'm going to take a piss while you answer that.
Yep. Well, I do something like that on Patreon. I do a thing called Motivation Mondays. Even in life in general, I mean, nothing's always easy. There's stuff that, friends and family, I think are supposed to be your number one person for support in this industry. It's like, you want to breed snakes? Are you fucking nuts? Why you'd spend that much money on it? The people that are supposed to be your support system are the ones fucking shitting on you. You're an idiot. How much you spending? Why would you do that? Some people don't get it, and they will never understand. I have people that saw me 10 years ago that I was saying, hey, you're doing okay. I'm getting into this. Would you help invest? No. Now, I mean, fuck, they want to give me money. I don't need your fucking money now. I needed it back then. You didn't believe in me now. Now you see the success. Now you want to give me money. I don't need it, and I wouldn't fucking take it from you. So if you have, doubts, you're the only one that can chase it and take those doubts away from yourself and other people. I like proving people wrong. I like knowing and going after something and having people against me and showing them I can do it. The freeway, when I first got into it, people said, they didn't want it. It's the same thing as highway, same thing. No one wants it. It's going to be overpopulated. Well, that was back in 2014. 8 years later, it's still fucking hot. People are making amazing shit, super asphalt combos. Wow. If I listened to people back then, I would have dropped the freeway because, so many people thought it was like highway and it wouldn't last because it's so easy and attainable. So, you really got to have a positive and you know what's great about Ozzy? Fucking mindset, man. That's, he's so based on mindset and it's great. Like, where he came from, where I came from, where other people, it's all different. And what he had to do to get to where he's at, what I've had to do to get to where I've gotten to. Everyone's got their own story, but no one comes into this and just wins, no problems, no headaches. People are always going to be against you, even other people. Like when Miguel got into this, how many fucking people were that guy won't last. This guy's burning his fucking money.
Own friends at the time.
Yeah. And guess what? He fucking showed them.
He shut him
like,
the fuck up.
You know what I mean?
He retired most of them. I'm not even joking. A lot of them
yeah. And he's doing bigger and better things for that's going to help the industry and other people. But I remember him calling me. I talked to him for a little bit. Cool. And he messaged me going, "Yeah, I'm getting a lot of hate because I'm one of the breeders that you're sort of mentioning that's going to be at your 2018 breeding expo or CRBE.
Right.
And we're going to have a little get together, and Justin and Ozzy and Brian Barczyk and, Dave Kaufman and, all these people, and people are saying like, why the fuck's Miguel going? And I'm like, you know what? He goes, maybe I shouldn't come. I'm like, you're fucking coming.
Right.
I said, this is my fucking CRBE, or not my CRBE, but my facility,
your hometown,
my hometown.
Yeah.
I want you here.
Right.
Come. And he's like, yeah, but all these people. I'm like, fuck them.
Fuck them all.
Well, other people think that have more experience. I'm like, yeah, and there's a lot of people that have more experience than you, and that could come, but I didn't invite them. I invited you. So I really hope you fucking come. And he came, and this is before he was Miguel, and look what he's done.
Yeah.
Everyone else fucking shit on him. Like, this guy won't last. Oh man, he's spending money. This guy won't he doesn't know what he's doing. He'll be in and out as fast as he came in, or he'll be out as fast as he came in. Proved you fucking wrong. So you see this. There's people that come and go. There's people that come in and do well. There's some people come in and fail. There's some people that come in and takes them 2-3 years to understand, like Herbert,
right,
doing it for a couple years and like, hey, you know what? I'm doing it. I get it. I like it. Billy makes sense. He reached out, we talked, and he invested money. Fuck. You think that he's afraid to invest money now? Fuck, we created another monster, because the more money I invest, the more I make, the more I want to spend. You know why? Because I keep making money. I don't fucking lose. You know why? Because I care. I love what I do. I put the work in. I know what I'm doing. I keep learning. I keep grinding.
I mean, okay, guys, Christian, Matt, how many fucking things have Billy said tonight that's pretty inspiring? But the one thing he just said right now that made me so fucking amped, I don't fucking lose.
I don't lose.
It is. I don't fucking lose. Bro, that needs to be here. I don't fucking lose.
Yeah, because you know what? I know when to
that
pair.
shit.
I battle the
God,
odds. I'm not doing 1-to-1.
I love it.
Because if you do 1-to-1 and the female doesn't go, you're making 0.
Right.
If you have 4, you got 4 chances. If 1 doesn't go, you got 3. If 2 don't go, you have a really shitty season. Or if all 4 don't go, you just got shit luck. You're still making nothing. I'd rather take 4-to-1 than 1-to-1 any day.
God bless.
Listen. And if you're a savage, you have an ultrasound, you know what you're doing. That 1 can go to many more than 4. Woo!
Billy, we had up to 180 people in this fucking live, man.
Fucking awesome.
And
you guys rock.
Listen, how many likes we got? 149 likes.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. What do you have to say to all your supporters, especially your Patreon members, everyone who's been down with you since day one watching this?
I love y'all. I mean, I love the support. I love the feedback. I love that I inspire people. I'm pretty, open. We don't, we do videos. We don't really do takes. We just turn it on. We had a really fuck up one that we have that I just couldn't spep.
Honestly, I love it though, man. No takes, baby. Just fucking go with it.
And it's just go. And like I said, on camera, off camera, I'm the same. I'm hyper. I don't say one thing and do it the other. I'm open. People can come to my facility, show them stuff. I want to teach people to learn. There's so much, knowledge that's out there that's great, and there's so much that's not. And trying to get those people to understand which one's right and which one's wrong faster will save them. Oh, well, I thought you had to do this. I'm like, well, how did that work out? Oh, I lost everything in my incubator. Yeah. So now that I guarantee you that won't happen next year. I want to save and put out as much information out there, and other people are as well, which I think is great. This industry now is so many people are teaching and helping, and there's people out there with shitty. Oh, why the fuck would I pay? Why would I pay to learn? Then don't. And 5 years later, you wonder why the fuck you're behind.
And then also steer away from those kind of people, right? Like
100%.
If it's negative.
If I want to learn how to do, like social media, right. I don't want to spend time and learn or pay to learn. So I pay someone who knows what the fuck they're doing to do it. Right. And I'm glad I did, because it's a great job and it takes, shit off my plate. If I wanted to learn how to, race cars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, by the way, not easy to do.
I'm going to have to call Marshall, I guess, right?
No, not actually, Marshall handled Price one of the best on the track. Justin took me off the track. Do you know me and Justin went off the track?
No way.
It was scary, man.
Fucking awesome.
So I don't want to get too in detail, but he almost killed me.
Cool.
Anyways,
but the thing is, if I want to learn to drive, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to go to fucking, Tony with a Honda Civic at Tim Hortons or the coffee shop that fucking has this loud ass muffler? Sounds like a fucking lawnmower. Hey, dude, let me hop in your car. Teach me how to drive. No, I'm going to go pay. And you know what? Believe me, when you go pay a fucking certified professional that has experience, and you do that, I'm going to be a better driver than some fucking Yahoo in a lawnmower car,
100%.
you know, and that's just facts, you know. And maybe you can go to the lawnmower guy and maybe he'll teach you something, but you're not going to get as quality as that. And I think the experience, me being raw, the stuff I give, the discounts I give, I think, it's a win-win for everybody.
It is,
You know?
man. And honestly, this overall, this podcast was a complete win. But before we
Hope
did,
so.
no, I know so for a fact. I can tell you, I'm sitting two fucking right here. What am I saying? Witnesses, two witnesses right here who saw that. But before we dip out, guys, a couple shameless plugs. Please go give me a follow on Instagram, MJ Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E. Make sure you go follow the podcast's Instagram as well, Chop Talk with MJ Podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers. I see my Twitch viewers going up. And if you out there would like to support this channel more than a subscription, more than a like, please send me any donation to PayPal at Exotics Cartel, not an A, with an A, not an E. And last but not least, as Billy's been giving props to his Patreon family, I got to give props to my Patreon. I got to give props to my Patreon family, the Snake Trap Sessions Patreon family, growing by the day. Please go down to the link and support me if you like. And I appreciate all my Trap Talk Patreon members. I love you guys to death. And man, what an awesome episode, Billy. I got to say thank you so much for your hospitality, the steak and fries earlier today, all the above, guys. All I got to say is be ready for this fucking facility tour that I'm dropping next week. And I will be back, Billy. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you so much. Man. Everyone have a good night. And we are tapping out. Cheers.